About to go live. Welcome to All Politics Are Local, America's number one political hip hop talk show. And we are here with a full show this week. We know that if we are here, it's the first Friday. It is the time for Pastrami Over Politics with Rahman Muhammad and Altarik Kenney. We have a huge show lined up. We're going to run through the rundown, and then we're going to get to the very exciting politics over pastrami. Today, like it's election season, so this night is dedicated to the election. We're going to have a lot of candidates on, like we did last week, like we hopefully will next week. This week, we have a lot of the incumbents on because this is election season at 7 o'clock. We're going to have Central Ward Councilwoman Amina on at 7:20. We're going to have South Ward Councilperson. Patrick Council. At 8 o'clock, we're going to have at Councilwoman at Large, Louise Scott-Rountree. At 8 o'clock, we're going to have at Large Councilwoman, Reverend Louise Scott-Rountree. At 8:40, at 8:20, we're going to have Alturrick B. White Sr. He's a candidate for the at-large councilperson in Newark, New Jersey. And at 8:40, we're going to have Baruti Libre Kafele on his new books. These books that he's going to talk about conclude that Black people aren't lazy, we've just been set up. It's going to be a brief discussion on housing discrimination and ways to navigate systems designed to hurt us. So we're going to have a lot of candidates talking about running for office, and at the very end, we're going to talk about some of the deeper problems within our community. So that's us.
No, I'm sorry.
Oh, so that is us, and we can get started. Pastrami Over Politics. We have a lot to talk about tonight, but we're going to start off with the election. And I just want to say this. There's been reports of an album that's been released by Rahman Muhammad, and in the spirit of the political season, there's been a lot of political satire going on, and there's like talk of chicken. Come on, you got it. What's going on, man? What's going on? That guy's going crazy.
Them young boys need to leave rock alone.
What's going on? We're on Pastrami Over Politics. We're going to be talking first about political satire and where's the chicken? Come on, man. What's going on, man? Why are we talking about chicken? Oh wait, Rahman, I took you off of mute. So what's going on, man? What's going on? Why are we talking about chicken, man? What's going on? Wait, Rock, you are not on. You are on muted on your end. I can't hear you at all.
Rahman, you got to be it.
Rahman, you should check your sound settings. You are not on. I think you muted yourself and you haven't unmuted yourself yet. All right. Try going back out and coming back in. And is it just me? Okay. Altarik, what's going on? I mean, you are often an accomplice to these things, and you have been on the site of the chicken satires, man. What's going on, man? I mean, there's politics. What's going on with all this satire going on?
Could you imagine that? Me be a part of this experience? I don't know where that came from.
But... Oh, wow. A denialing now. You deny. Come on, Mr. Kenney. Why you
I will say this. I'm not denying it. I'm just acknowledging it. I am saying this right here, that this is interesting because political satire has been a part of politics from the beginning of politics. And so you can go back to the times of the Greeks. You can go back to the time of the beginning of democracy up until now. Satire has been a part of trying to use comedy and influence of using. Now we're using social media to tell a story, and that story either could be respond to information that either can be true or untrue, to provide more accurate information about what is happening in today's electoral politics. And, as we go through the season, is to provide people with information that they can digest. And so we see a lot of satire. Some people could say, thank God for AI. Some people say AI has been the worst thing in electoral politics in the last several years. But it is conveying a story. And I've been hit with satire, primarily by a friend of mine, who happens to be a black MAGA. I don't know how to, that's just kind of like an oxymoronic statement. But he's a self-defined black MAGA.
What's the oxymoronic statement? That you have a friend who's a black MAGA? Or that
yes,
is a black MAGA? There are a couple of things. You're like, one of my friends, and I think I've seen this, and it does seem like y'all pretty cool.
He's a good brother. No, he's a really good brother. I mean, we battle each other on ideas and philosophy. I know he has a different way of how we should move as a community. I have a different, ideology of how we should move as a community. Some odd reason he's been, every time we were on the opposite side of the political spectrum. And so the last one was obviously he was a huge Jack supporter. He was a Trump supporter, and he's used satire.
Can y'all hear me?
Hello, we can hear you.
All right, good. Okay.
But Alturrick, okay, so are you and Alturrick the same person? Because you jumped on and I can hear you, and Alturrick popped off. What's going on here?
We just popped his boy. We're definitely not the same person.
All right.
Each other I look older and better than him.
Okay. All right.
You know what I'm saying? That my background, they got my album cover, 8 tracks, coming, in a bonus track, that's coming real soon. I'm about to upload to all streaming platforms. I figure, why not? This I'm always doing first, so this would be my first political soundtrack.
Stop. Hold on. Wait. Okay.
Yeah.
I think you're taking this too far. You are actually going to release this on streaming platforms?
It's going to be released, brother.
You're going to be
on album, brother.
All right, so what are the tracks?
Right here, my brother. The tracks, brother.
The
tracks. This is a real thing. This is all the songs that I made during the campaign. I'm putting my last diss track on the album because I haven't released it yet. So I'm gonna put that on the album so that they can see it. That's gonna be the bonus track so that they can go and download the album so that they can hear it. So we got our track for Amina Bay. We only see one. We got our Niba Ramos reggaeton track. We got Vote Mike Silva, another reggaeton track, a Portuguese reggaeton track. We got the Team Baraka All the Way song, we got the Do It All for the West, which is a hot, that Do It All for the West, that hook is dope.
Well, it better be,
C7
right?
on the
He's a rapper.
Council.
I was going to say, with the West Ward, it better be a great track because,
we got our Team Baraka Afrobeat song. And
the rest know how to do it.
And then we got Where's the Chicken, which is the smash single on the album. You know what I'm saying? Where's the Chicken? So we got 8 tracks, and then we got our bonus track that I'm adding to the album. And now it's being uploaded to all streaming platforms. I mean, I'm not trying to make no money off of it, but I mean, I figured I upload it and now I'm claiming to be an artist. That's all. You know what I'm saying? I'm a producer. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it only costs you a few dollars to upload it. Why not? I mean, what you got to lose? So I'm gonna upload it to all the streaming platforms as an album, and you'll be able to go on Apple Music, Spotify anytime you want and hear the campaign songs of the 2026 in Newark. You know what I'm saying? That's me and my artist old school. That's what we're doing.
You think those young boys hate you now? Wait till you go on.
Oh, they hate. Hey, listen, man. I don't care about them hating me. I mean, that's what old men. Old men live for young boys to hate them. So I don't care. I care nothing about that. Anytime you correct young folks, you get the hate. So I mean, I absorb it. You know what I'm saying? But what's crazy to me though is that they young and I'm beating them in AI. Like that's the most craziest stuff. To me, like they all over the place. I'm looking at the little flyers they doing and the memes that they doing and the stuff they trying to make. I think we shut Bernard down with that one post out, which is crazy because I had some more in the cut for him. I didn't want to post them. I gave them to you to post because I didn't want to post them because I didn't want to get off topic. You know what I'm saying? You
So
know, I
some
had
of
a
this
couple
is-
more. I had a couple more in the cut for him. You know, I was just waiting for him to, you know what I'm saying, to put it up. So yeah, no, listen. Ultimately, you know, it's a new way of campaigning. I mean, listen, I wish I had these tools a long time ago.
Now-
you know, you can use them. I think I got to be honest with John. You know how many people have called me that's in office, that's running for office, that asked me to help them out or show them how to do what I'm doing because they wanted to help them out with their campaign. I just did a song for Matt. For Adrian. Oh, by the way, I just did a remix of Do It All song, Do It All for the West, and did a New York Knicks version, Do It All for the East, and they sent it to the Knicks, and yo, they going to play it.
Oh, that's great. Now, here's the thing, right? All through my feed in the last 2 months, I've been getting Iranian propaganda films, right?
Yes.
Those Lego videos, those
Yeah.
Lego hip hop diss tracks on the United States.
Yeah.
And they are hilarious over
Yeah.
a serious issue. And part of me is like, when I saw Where's the Chicken, and I see all the stuff going back and forth, and I'm being hit with all these Iranian propaganda videos that are really good, right? Like that are really pointed in what they do. They're very effective in terms of communication. Is that where the future of politics is going? Are we seeing, is this meme thing, this AI video diss track, Kendrick, Drake, Red, Blue, you, Bernard? Like, is this where we are?
I can guarantee you that based on the things that we've been doing, that the people will copy and it will spread across the country. I can guarantee you that. As a matter of fact, I already seen a friend of mine in Georgia who's a Facebook friend of mine. He's running for county commissioner. He's already done a song for him, running for county commissioner in Georgia. So I can guarantee you that people are going to use the tools, and including the memes. I mean, the picture thing is like corny to me. I don't, you know what I'm saying? I think, you know, anybody can make a cartoon thing. The level that they got to get to is the level that I'm at. You know what I'm saying? Making the tracks, and you get a good hook out there, man. People, listen, we were playing the music on Branford and Broad Street, and cats was standing on the corner dancing and lit. Like, you get a good hook, you get a good tune, like people put it in their head, man. You start, you know, you don't know, man. People, you know, it puts, you know, it puts it in your mind what, you know, what's going on. You know what I'm saying? And that's not to say that it guarantees vote, but I can tell you this. I would say in the future that, you know, I can believe that you'll have some influence over voting, especially amongst young people. And it pertains, and you know, they'll be looking at people's songs and stuff. Yeah.
Well, politics is often about familiarity, people getting familiar with you, name recognition, message, and when you're trying to define people, satire, music, song, that kind of stuff, a catchy hook can be devastating. And I think that maybe that we'll start seeing this. If only this were around in 2020. That might have been, or 2024 rather. If only this was around during the presidential election, I think there might have been some very creative, entertaining moments that we would be remembering.
I mean, you know what it is, Jonathan, that people got to think. I think that you got to think outside the box when it comes to politics. I actually did it for fun. I try to bring levity in all campaigns. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I've been doing that from the point of when I was a poll worker, where I used to go to the opponents and, you know, joke with them and try to get people to understand that the seriousness, that it's not so serious election. Like, you know, it's going to be over, and listen, let's all still be friends, right? And so a lot of my trolling, if they want to call it that, really is to have fun. You know what I'm saying? It's, you know, let's make light of a situation. Y'all out here calling people crooks and thieves, and y'all trying to destroy people's families, talking about they should go to jail, and you calling the FBI, and like, it's like, that's craziness to me, right? And I don't wish that on no black man, and especially including any of my opponents, you know, or a black person or any person. Be honest with you, I don't rather you black or not. I don't wish that on anybody. You know what I'm saying? And to see that that people go to that level of, listen, I was investigated for 2 years because people went to a mic and made people think that I stole money from the union. and I was investigated. And the sad thing about that, there was
and that was by the federal government, right? You were literally investigated by the FBI, right?
Well, I don't know. It was the Fed. It could have been the FBI. I don't know who it was. I know it was people going to folks from the Feds, from the federal government, investigating me and questioning people that was doing business with the union about me. And those people was like, they didn't, they was getting pressure put on it. Might have been the Feds because they were putting pressure on it. And I mean, to the point where they told my staff in the union that they couldn't talk to me because they might be calling the grand jury. So, I don't take this stuff lightly. Now listen, nothing come out there because I'm not a thief. So I wasn't worried about it anyway. And when people were calling me, asking me about it and asking me what to do, I was telling you should tell them the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what you're supposed to do. Like, I'm not worried about it. So you should tell them the truth. Don't, if they trying to get you to make some stuff up, you tell them the truth. Because I don't have nothing to hide. So, I mean, eventually that investigation was over, but the sad thing is that it started because of what people saying today, folks wanted to get the mayor locked up, get his brother locked up, get B locked up, get Altarik, like that's craziness, y'all, to me. And I make light of these campaigns for fun because, like, people say, first of all, I am childish. Let's be very clear about that. I still play video games. I'm big childish. I'm not just childish. I'm big childish. So, but it's really to bring some fun into a campaign and to, try to get people to understand, like, we run an election, but it ain't that serious. If whoever wins, if you win, you win. But I mean, my life is going on. I don't know why y'all feel the need to think that life is over, if it don't go my way. Like, that's not me, and I just think that until the opponents realize that, they don't have to make things up, right? They can talk about the things that still exist because the mayor admits every day, that the city's not perfect and they still got work to do. It's not, he don't say like, people kill me when crime happens because the mayor said crime is lower, and if something happened, they say, oh, crime is not, it's how high. No. He never said crime don't exist. He said crime is lower, which it is. Which it is. And so we should admit that. You know what I'm saying? He don't say that there is no jobless people in the city of Newark. He said that unemployment is lower than when he got here, which is true, by the way. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that you can say that you're not doing enough and you can give your ideas on what you think, but to just keep lying and making things up and calling him a thief and a crook and like we all criminals, and no woman in the city hall earned their position unless they were sleeping with somebody. Like, I just think that this is so insulting. And the fact that all Norkers are just impoverished and none of us can afford nothing. And it's, oh, woe is us. And like, where does the dystopian view of the city of Newark residents come from? I don't want no Newark residents suffering. I want every Newark resident to do just as well as I am. And we should be putting plans on the table for that to occur. Not to sit up there and say that they should be dependent upon government assistance and they have to. No, government assistance should just be there when you need to get yourself through something. But eventually, you have to work to get yourself through it. And that's not what we do here, man. It's blame. What they blamed the mayor for today, Tariq, that you had to correct them on? What was they saying?
About so one gentleman brought up the fact is that the city of Newark is responsible for the insurance that was used, that should have been used for Newark Symphony Hall,
right?
The closing of Newark, Newark Arts, Newark Arts Academy, and these other things that are connected to the city of Newark, but it's not managed and controlled by the administration. And so sometimes, like, this is a perfect season, for civic engagement, but also civic education. And I think what Rahaman has done, and some other people, there's a young lady named Spencer. I mean, she has done an amazing job just engaging a population of people who are now being brought into the political atmosphere by, some younger candidates. And she's been educating people about, hey, this is how government actually works. If you want to do a partnership agreement to try to expand the amount of, garbage trucks that occur this is actually how it gets done in the real world, in the real sense. And I think people have to value that good people exist anywhere, right? I think that's part of, like, for me, the insult of this political season is that, as Rahaman shared, is that people who work for the administration are incompetent, as if the people who work in city government or county government are not capable of working anywhere else besides where they actually work. Then the second thing that they'll say is that we are intentionally trying to destroy the city of Newark because we have proven, data-driven, decisions that we make on a day-to-day basis, and which is completely not true. But what I will say is, I want to go back to your point about what this satire has done. So campaigns have evolved over years. So years ago, if you had a bigger political machine, you could knock on doors with the most amount of people, database the people, and get people to come to the polls the day of the election. And as
which is still what everyone has to do, right?
It's an effective tool, like based on, and they'll actually see on May 12th, if you run just a social media campaign, how your numbers will look. But if you run a traditional campaign, knocking on doors, talking with people, letting your ideas go into the marketplace, let it be discussed, let it be debated, even come back and change your ideas because new information comes out day to day, they'll understand that the old traditional way of knocking on doors, talking with people, forming coffee clutches, having conversations with people where they are is actually an effective tool. But what I've noticed during this campaign season is that people only rely on one tool, which is strictly social media. Is they're getting the information out. They're complaining about what they want to do. In fact, some people get information about how they want to change government, but it's not hitting people on a daily basis because they actually need to feel you, touch you, see you, and have a conversation with you. And I think people will see, on May 12th, what is actually happening. Are people really feeling, some of the things that are happening with some of these candidates, and they'll understand that the traditional way of campaigning, even though it has evolved, some people just rely on its only tool. And I want to say this particular point, Jonathan, is that what Iran did were using these Legos to even the playing field, with the U.S. government and their propaganda campaign. It was creative and smart. But you also have to make sure in local campaigns that it just can't be social media. It can't be memes. You can actually have to go outside your house, away from your cell phone, and talk with somebody you don't know and have a conversation with them about, what you plan to do if you plan to get into elected office, how you can incorporate them into the process, not simply using scare campaigns, but actually using hope and inspiration to get them involved and engaged, and then also make sure ideas come out of it. And that's one thing I haven't seen during this. Let me back up. I've seen it in a very limited spark. I've only seen a lot more people complaining about what something is not happening rather than what they would do if they were in a space and what government actually does.
Okay, so I think you made a lot of interesting points. That I think I want to just jump back on the knocking on doors, because the satire, it's funny. A lot of people are talking about it, but in order to get votes, it's politics 101 that you have to make personal connections with people. You have to have people get out, you knock on doors, because people have to be inspired to go and actually vote for you, right? Like they have to get up out of their houses or fill out the ballot. They have to go get a ballot, request it. There's an effort that has to be done, and people just don't make that effort simply because of something they see online. They are far more likely to make that effort if there is personal contact. Are you saying that there's not a lot? Like I'm just assuming that everybody's knocking on doors right now. Everybody's in the street. Everybody's doing that to try to get votes, one vote at a time. You're saying that's not really what's going on.
I mean, it's a strong assumption. Rock, let me address that real quick. There's 42 people running for office right now, and I don't see 42 people, at anyone's door. It should be an overwhelming door knocking campaign from candidates who are serious about running for elected life. And so, even in my own ward, I have about maybe 8 or 9 people running for South Ward. You have 8 or 9 people running for mayor, and you have maybe about 10 to 15 people running for at large. For me, it should be about 30 people, 40 people at my door trying to solicit my vote, or even on my block. And I think one of the biggest things that we're missing in this campaign is, like, forget the where's the chicken part of it and where's the money, where's the voter engagement, right? Where's the door knockers? And I remember when I first ran for school board, I remember when it used to rain, I remember Mayor Shar James would tell me, if it rains, that means people are home. And I don't see people going out in the rain, knocking on doors and talking to people. And then having a follow-up conversation, these coffee clutches that existed to have people inside their neighborhood talk to them about what their plans are and what their issues are. I haven't seen it. I haven't seen it specifically in my district or in my community. I haven't seen it on my block. And we have consistent voters who willing and waiting to be engaged. But the amount of people who are actually talking to us, I haven't seen that at all.
It's interesting because when Artist Novell said that it's about grassroots campaigning, right? And when he was like, that's what I've always thought that these type of political campaigns were at a basic level. When people talk about machines, whether you talk about like any type of quote machine that money has, essentially they've knocked on doors. They've got a database of people. They've had the coffee clutches. They've had these small organizations, and they have people out there working for them. Are you just saying that people just don't know how to do grassroots campaigning anymore? Because I always thought that campaigns were that.
Jonathan, it's not sexy. You know, it's not fun. In fact, it takes a lot of work, effort, and energy. It takes two things. One, it takes you to actually get out of your computer and talk to somebody and literally just knock on somebody across the street from where you live. Then you got to ask people to work with you. And I think some people have these amazing ideas, but they're probably more of a leader of one. And so I've seen people who've done that, but I haven't seen a groundswell of 30 people who are knocking on doors, either as a team or as individuals. And there's been 4 campaigns, Jonathan, within the last year, 2 gubernatorial, a school board campaign, and now mayoral campaign, which means you would see a lot of engagement. And I haven't seen the engagement as it should. Maybe it's apathy, maybe it's cynicism. I don't know what it might be, but I just haven't seen the sort of engagement that I would anticipate, being that there's been 4 campaigns citywide, 5 campaigns including the Central Ward campaign. I just haven't seen that sort of engagement.
I want to jump back to something that Rahaman was talking about, and that's vitriol in politics.
I think Rock is trying to get in, John. He's saying he can't.
Oh, wait, you can't hear? All right, so can everyone online, can you hear me? Is it only Rock that's having the problems with hearing?
Yeah, I think it might be those glasses, Rock.
Rock, are you a menace? Get off the menace, Rock.
Switch your audio inputs and your vocal inputs and see if you can hear us. And if not, go out and come back in one more time. I think sometimes if your audio inputs might be different, because I can't hear you. Yeah, I think also check, what I was going to say is also on the microphone that's on the left-hand side, press down on that and you can see what your input actually is. If your input's on your computer or if your input, like your voice and ear, is on your actual equipment.
But you know, John, one thing I want to say about what Alturrick just shared, I think Alturrick, you just gave a clinic on how to run.
Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
All right.
And I was going to say, if you go again,
my glasses on.
Yeah, if you're going again, also check your microphone. The microphone that's on the it's on the panel to the very far left-hand side. If you click on the arrow,
it wasn't. No, okay. I think I'm like what Ed saying, is the glasses. I'm really going like in and out. But listen, okay. let me. I just wanted to respond to what Tariq said, because it's not that I don't think that people are doing it. It's that, you know, this is how you can tell movements aren't existing that want to replace the current electoral system. If what they're saying is true, then you would have all these volunteers that are up under them out there knocking on doors. It's not that they don't know how to do it, it's that they don't have the capacity to do it, because there's not this movement that they claim out there. It is the same people that come to the council meeting every single month, been coming for the last 12 years saying the same thing. You may have a few more during the election season, but that's not the capacity it is enough to win an election. And these folks know it. And you know what I'm saying? The young man who every night is doing a live, he get about 30 views on his live. I was at his live the other day, and I was actually trying to help him. Like I'm always trying to help him, trying to advise the kid. But you know, he want to block everybody if you disagree with him or you trying, because what he's on there saying and what he's on there doing is just giving people untruths. And he's saying stuff that is just not the way that you run government. You cannot run government by committee. Like that's not going to exist. Like I don't know where, you know, who came up with this idea that somehow I mean, what would be the point in elected officials if you're going to run government by committee? Like, I don't, you know what I'm saying? This is we are in a form of government. We have a strong mayor, weak council form of government. You cannot turn around and just not and push the council to the side and say, oh, every time I do something, I'm gonna have a vote of community people who are going to say, hey, should we hire this director? Everybody agrees, say, like, that's not how government works, right? But when you are young and you are impressioning, you believe that. And first of all, he ain't that young. He's 39. I mean, we were in our 20s when we were trying to move up. But but I mean, he does not even understand government. And I'm trying to help him to understand government, but because they want to keep a narrative of somebody's a crook, that the mayor is but yet they're support. I heard him other day on the live talking about people that's on the council. They average age is 60, but yet he's supporting two individuals who age is one hitting 70 and the other one is in their 60s. I'm like, it's like mind blown. I was like, what? Did he just say that? I mean, he actually sat up there and was on his live making a statement about people on the council, and the average age on the council is in the 60s. Yet he's supporting someone who's about to be 70 and somebody that's in their 60s. Like, make it make sense. You know what I'm saying? Please make it make sense. And you know what I'm saying? This is the stuff. Some of the stuff is like, and what the lady Miss Spencer is doing is like right on point. Like, I'm making fun, right? But what Miss Spencer's doing is actually breaking it down, which is excellent. I just don't have time to do all of that. But what she's doing is just breaking down. But I mean, I've tried to do my little part based on what I know and who I am, and try to educate on what government is and how government works. And this idea that you have about how government works just does not exist. And you know what I'm saying? You have to understand, like, when you say you want to run for mayor, right? But yet you're saying, but of course I don't have ideas about the budget because I don't know the budget. What are you talking about? If you run for mayor and say that you want to control a budget, you have to have some ideas on what you're going to do with that budget. You can't say, oh, the first thing I'm going to do is get an audit, then we're going to decide what's going to happen with the budget based on what the audit. What are you talking about? That's just not how government works or should work. And if that is how you're going to be as a leader, or that's what you pushing as a platform, then you're not ready for class president, let alone mayor of the city of Newark. I mean, this is like, you know, it's and the adults and grown. Like, I understand why some of the adults around him is using him. I get it. You know what I'm saying? They trying to get their media click. The kid got a little social media presence, and they older, they don't, and they're trying to utilize him. I get it, because none of them is teaching him or saying to him, brother, this is just not how it works. You know what I'm saying? They're not doing that. And they're not doing that because they're trying to curry favor with him, because they know if they tell him or correct him, he's going to be mad at him and try to block him like he's done all of us. Wow. You know what I'm saying? And so,
that's
you know.
A great point, Rock. I didn't think about it that way. That's a great point.
What? That was?
You made a great point about, it's almost like the NFL. It's like what I see what's going on with Adrian Broner, right? If you don't have right guidance around you, then you can self-destroy. And I'm looking at Adrian Broner online and see how his brother was almost on the level of Floyd Mayweather, and now he's self-destructive. And you absolutely right, you need adults in the room who are able to give him constructive communication and constructive feedback, and he's able to be willing to accept it and realize that whatever my ideas are now, I have to use those and incorporate them and grow. But I think there's a lack of resistance to that. So I just thought it was a great point you made.
Hey, Altarik, can you just tell people who Adrian Broner is, just so they know? Hey,
Adrian Broner was supposed to be Mayweather Part 2. He ain't Mayweather Part 2. He's a boxer that used to box in the welterweights, and this brother has now decided to to go into alcoholism, and he went into like being a YouTuber and destroyed his career. I'm not saying that's what the young guy is, but I'm just saying that guidance is necessary in order for that person to grow where they are. That's what I'm referencing. So if he snapshot what I just said, I want him to snapshot what I'm saying, is I'm referring to guidance and having mature people around you who are able to give you constructive feedback. Because I know you like to snapshot stuff and take things out of character. So if you snapshot, we refer to guidance.
All right, so I know we spent a lot of time on local politics because this is election season. But whenever we get you on, we also want to talk about other stuff that's going on, right? And especially in light of both of your collective experiences as union leader, as someone who's been behind the scenes and in front of the scenes in Newark, as Alturrick, an elected official in Newark, dealing with these local issues. The Supreme Court just gutted the 1965 Voting Rights Act. And it's been happening for a while, like Shelby versus Holder in 2013 gutted a lot of the Voting Rights Act. And it seemed to really deal it almost a death blow right now. We are going to see in the next, we're going to see very shortly that Black Congress people all over the South, their districts are going to disappear. Like many people who have districts in southern states or southern politicians, they're actively, as of today, writing out their districts, and you're not going to have Black representation in southern states for the most part, right? They're getting those districts down to in many instances, none, especially in states like Alabama, Louisiana. What does that mean, given your experience as a union leader, your experience and dealing with local politics? I know that it happened, and a lot of people just aren't talking about it. They're not looking at it in any way. If you have to educate people on what happened from your perspective of why it's important on your day-to-day level, what's going on?
I got to be honest. First of all, May Day's coming up. I know Zahid said I got to say something about that. So, you know what I'm saying? I didn't forget, Zahid. I'm just not.
Hey.
Yeah, it's coming up. And I have not been involved in the labor movement for some time. I mean, personally, because unless they invite me to a rally or something. But May Day is coming up, and I think it's important that union members take a stand, and because workers' rights are under attack, and more than ever, you need that. Here's what I thought about this yesterday, Jonathan, and I've been thinking about this for a month, right? So a few things, right? One, the Black folk people who supported the Trump agenda, I just want you to see what you've got. You know what I'm saying? That's number one. Like, this is what you support. You know what I'm saying? That every time it comes to minorities, this man has done everything in his power to roll back any type of rights when it comes to Black people. You know what I'm saying? But yet some of these same people holler about reparations, by the way. You know what I'm saying? Some of these same people who supports Trump and his agenda and the Republican agenda of pulling back.
People who support Trump say reparations.
I'm talking about Black folk. I'm talking about Black people, John.
Okay.
I'm talking about Black folks.
There's a backwards class of folks that got a backwards take on reparations that will limit the conversation.
Well, Zahid, they talk about reparations. I don't even think they understand what I'm just saying that they'll scream reparations in the same breath with saying that they support Donald Trump and what he's doing as far as it comes to rollback and minority rights. Or make an excuse or try to downplay him destroying and making minority rights. Listen, this is going to have a major impact in the South, right? But here's the thing, right, Jonathan? So here's what I would say to Black people, because it's going to happen, right? But that does not mean we don't have an opportunity. What this is showing, to be honest with you, Jonathan, is that once again, the reason why we had to create districts that had minority representation was because we don't believe that white Democrats would also vote for Black people in the South. I need y'all to be very clear about this. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't just about Republicans not voting for Black Democrats. This is also about white Democrats who don't want to vote for Black Democrats in the South. But here's an opportunity, right? Because it's going to happen, right? And you still have the numbers in those districts, and they're going to have to draw these districts where it's going to be more minorities in these districts that are supposed to be, you know what I'm saying, Republican or white districts, right? And this is your opportunity to come out in droves to take over some of those districts. Don't turn around here and give up on it. Fight back. You know what I'm saying? Come out to vote in numbers. Stop sitting on your behind. Use the numbers that you have to come out more than ever to come take over some of the districts that they now think they're going to dilute in their favor, right?
Because one of the things that actually could backfire and may well backfire is that they have to make some of these districts more moderate.
Yes, they are, right, exactly.
So instead of having these like Klan supporting districts, you now are going to have districts with 30% Black populations in it.
Yes.
And the white vote often splits 60-40. You are literally becoming to create districts that look like New Jersey, where you have like a 60% white vote, 40%, a 60% like MAGA vote, 40% don't like it vote, and you have 30% of Black people. If they are really going in as a block against somebody, you've got a bunch of swing districts in the South. No question.
And so and they, you know, and I thought about that yesterday, and I said, you know, although we look at it as a bad thing, I you know what I'm saying, I think that this is time for Democrats in the South, especially minority Democrats in the South, to wake up, get off their behind, stop sitting in seats that have been complacent and guaranteed to them or their family members, and get out here and organize new voters and put new people on the rolls and get out here and outvote them and take over some of these districts, because you now have that opportunity to do it. I think that it could backfire, John. I'm with you. I think that if we organize properly, that it can backfire. You know what I'm saying? But you know, we'll see what happens. But is it going to be a detriment to the Black Caucus? The Congressional Black Caucus in Congress? Yes, it is. You know, they're probably going to lose a lot of members because of these redistricting. But if we get out and work, and we work hard, and we outvote them, and it brings more people to the polls, then we don't have to allow that to happen. You know what I'm saying? So we can actually fight against it.
So here's my pushback. You can work hard, but if they change the law, they change the rules. And so effort doesn't stop the Louisiana from for losing a congressional district that would have been a Black district. By happenstance, this vote, this change in the law, will now create 6 new additional congressional districts that's going to impact majority white districts. And so the Voting Rights Act was supposed to be about representation based on race. And now they're saying it's representation based on political affiliation. And so the law itself will do a few things. Allow the local government to redraw districts that can emphasize a larger white voting population, can literally remove us from out of Congress. And I think we have to look at it in very creative ways. I think what you said, Rockline, is correct. We do have to get out and do more voting, and we have to challenge our white counterparts to vote for Black leadership. Like, it shouldn't take 54% Black population to vote for a Black congressperson. And also, if they choose a Black person, it doesn't have to be a Republican. It could be a Black Democrat in a majority white district. But I think one of the things that's also telling is that what it also says is that when people, I remember back in the Kamala Harris versus Trump days, people were saying voting doesn't matter to me. And they were saying, if I vote, it doesn't impact me locally. And Trump has like, in terms of his policy, that demonstrated to you that voting does matter. I mean, 1 out of the 3 Trump Supreme Court justices currently sit on, was nominated by him and made this sort of decision, this conservative decision. That was written by Scalia, another Republican appointed judge. And the congressional districts will definitely impact how we receive and how we are denied federal resources. And so Trump's will exist when he's no longer in office based on these sort of rules that have happened on the federal level. And so racial gerrymandering is currently happening right now. And we have to look at it for what it is. It's to ensure that Black voter empowerment has been decimated, I should say, on the federal level and being codified by the court. And this is probably one of the biggest decision that's been made since the Voting Rights Act of 1965, because it denies us the ability to have fair representation on the federal level. And so we have to look at it on that perspective. And so, yes, it could inspire us to go out and vote. It could inspire us to make, allyships with people who are happen to be white Democrats or liberals who call themselves liberals, but never been open to voting for Black elected leadership. But also it says to us that it shrinks our population wide numbers of representation on the federal level. And that's why for me, and also a lot of other has been, whether it's been ACLU, whether it's been a number of organizations that said this has been a bad policy that's going to negatively impact registered voters nationwide, specifically Black and brown leadership.
I think that both things can be true at the same time, right? Like, as in, yes, the policy is bad, obviously, right? For obvious reasons, it's resegregation. But I think that when you have something that is that bad, you have to have a response. And I think the response, because it's acknowledging, yes, it's bad, but you have, I think that there has to be an all response into responding, because these southern states have high percentages, incredibly high percentages of Black populations. There are more, the highest percentage in the country of Black people is Mississippi, followed by Louisiana, right?
Yeah.
And I think that Alabama is in that mix. So these states that are so highly segregated, that are so hard, trying to be hey, we don't want any Black representation, they have so many different Black potential voters in them that could overwhelm it. And yes, they will put up more roadblocks, but I think that's where the fight needs to happen. I think that millions of dollars and organizing dollars needs to go where it should have gone a long time ago, and that is organizing the South.
But Jonathan, here's the thing to me, and what I'm saying, I'm glad you said that, because you're absolutely correct, right? So I don't know if I support. I don't know if I'm in the. I think I've gotten out of the philosophy of believing that just a person in a Black seat is beneficial to our community. I don't think every Black person that's in Congress benefits us. I'm just being honest with you. I think that a lot of them are complacent and they don't do anything. You know what I'm saying? And and because they know they are in those safe seats, they don't go out and work hard. You know what I'm saying? To make sure that there's more folks that participate into the electorate. And I agree with you. There's no excuse why places like Mississippi, Louisiana, that have high Black population should not use this as an opportunity to go out there and organize even more, to overwhelm them and surprise them at the poll. Like you said, when they create these moderate districts that they're about to create, and overwhelm them at the poll and go out there and convince, I'm going to say it again, white Democrats. I've said it many times on here, that some white liberals are some of the most racist people that I know. And they will never vote for a Black Democrat, right? And so we have to make sure that we going out there and getting our people out to vote and participating and get away from the complacency, because we're in a safe seat that we could just allow things to go. Listen, let me tell you something. My years in labor, I spent a lot of time with folks in Congress. You know what I'm saying? I probably went to the Congressional Black Caucus for 23 years straight. You know what I'm saying? And I just say that, and listen, I've been in the South with some of them. Some of them were friends of mine, and I just see things differently when it comes to us just being in a seat because someone created a Black seat for us. What are we actually doing with the Black seat, and is it meaningful? Just to say we have the numbers, I don't know if that is just enough for our community, or that it makes a lot of change in our community. I think that we have to do more and make sure people earn these seats, and going out here working for these seats, and going out here making sure that they get maximum participation in the community to ensure that they stay in these seats. And I think that's an opportunity. I mean, we may disagree with what happened, but okay, it's happened. It's going to happen. Let's not dwell on it right now, because you ain't going to change it. It's time to move forward and get your behind out there and work.
Yeah,
as
so
people
Rock, right,
who
here's
are
the disagreement,
really
right? So Rock, here's the disagreement. 33% of the voting population, 33% of the population in Louisiana are African American. One of 9 of the congressional individuals in Congress happen to be African American. That's not good enough. And in Texas, we have the largest participation of Black voters, but they only have one person in Texas, Al Green, and two Wesley Hunt, who represent Black people in Congress. That's just not good enough. And it's done intentionally. So it's done with the fact that they want to ensure that Black elected officials are not represented in Congress. And it also doesn't impact just the federal level. It also impacts us on the local level as well, the state as well as county level, in terms of how to redraw and redesign these maps. So it's not just the federal level at the same time.
But I think that
what I'm saying to you is,
what I just want to jump in on this, because I think that what we're talking about that can happen on the local level in a lot of these southern states is the same thing that I think that the people who are in opposition may want to or may be thinking about, right? Like when you have established politicians, when you have established people, you have real grassroots campaigns. The grassroots campaigns are supposed to respond to real needs of people, right? That's why you go door to door. That's why you know what policies are. That's why you're looking for things that actually are effective. And it seems like, I think what Rahaman is talking about, what I think I'm talking about, is you have to have, this is an opportunity to throw the board up, right? Because we can't pretend that all over the country that representation has worked for the majority of Black people the way that we thought it would. Like just because you have a Black face, a lot of these politicians were backed by AIPAC, right? They took out politicians who were supporting us, and they literally took out 2 people in, I think, the last congressional term or 2 terms ago, when they were just started targeting Black politicians and Black congresspeople specifically to not go for the things that might be good for our community and to have those people like replaced, right? So I think that when we're looking at identity politics, when we're looking at Black faces in high places, I think that if you have an agenda that is truly grassroots, that is policy based, I love Movement for Black Lives, because Movement for Black Lives, it's a series of organizations that have policy positions that they are kind of like basically a Black think tank that looks for policies that are good for Black people. And they push their congressional Black leaders to adopt some of those policies, right? I think that this is an opportunity for people to actually do that. Unlike, and I think that your criticism, and you could both speak on this, I think your criticisms of people who are running against the Baraka team are that they have the opportunity to run real grassroots campaigns that are based on issues, that are based on things that are deficits, right? Like whenever someone's an incumbent, they've been there for a long time, they're always blind spots. They have the opportunity to find those blind spots and run on those blind spots to try to affect change. I think that can happen on a grassroots level across the country if the activists who are in all of those places, who are doing the work, who are organizing, we have them on our show all the time, like they're literally organizing on a grassroots level for things. If they look at that connection within politics, get people registered, get a community out, I think it's a potential to have leadership that can be responsive. And it might not look like us, but it may be more effective toward us if we start making these political demands that we have to make. They're not going to get in office without us.
Listen, Jonathan, you're absolutely correct. Listen, man, the problem that I have, what I fear about what just occurred is that we stay on the problem too long. You know what I'm saying? The Supreme Court has spoken. They removed it, right? And I think we'll dwell on it for about a decade before we begin to organize around it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I fear. And the deal is, like, right now, people have to understand, listen, that is the law of the land now. So what are you going to do? What was your plan B? And the crazy thing is, Jonathan, they suspected this, right? So
they knew it. It's been telegraphed for years.
So what were you doing? Yes, what were you doing to plan for this? What did you organize? The people that were in those districts, did you go out to more of the surrounding districts or the surrounding cities that you're in, begin to meet with those constituents, to talk to those constituents, to make them feel comfortable with you, to make them begin to know you, to, you know what I'm saying, so you can talk about your ideas, your platform? Did you do any of those things, or did you hope that the Supreme Court don't remove my seat, and now that they've done, you have no plan B? You know what I'm saying? This is the problem to me. You know what I'm saying? And this is across the country, by the way. This is not one individual, you know what I'm saying, or individual people, or even including in Republican circles and white Republicans, right? The reality of the matter is that we get complacent in these seats. We believe that the seat is ours, that we own the seat. Look at, listen, I think Congressman Clyburn's a good guy. I met him a few times. He was my mentor, one of my mentor's best friends, right? But, you know what I'm saying, he thought about not running, right? But when he realized they weren't going to support his daughter, he decided to run again for re-election, right? And this is the stuff that I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so because your daughter could not get it, you believe nobody else should have an opportunity for that seat? You know what I'm saying? I mean, this is the complacency. This is what I'm talking, just to say that you're there and you're not actually doing anything or making a difference for our community as a whole. And not to say that he's not, I'm just saying, like, I just don't need the seat filler. That, you know, let's just get along till I'm ready to pass it on. No. Let somebody else competition go. Allow democracy to take place and allow somebody to be able to come up and show their ideas, or rather they should earn that seat or not. This is our opportunity. We have to get out of this lazy thinking. That's something, these people taking a lot away from us. Bro, one thing that these Republicans done, they sat back for years, for decades, and just plotted and planned on how to remove social service programs from us, support programs from us, voting rights, everything. And you have to say, how did we allow that to happen? And a lot of it, Jonathan, and the folks that's up on here, is because we, the complacent people that's in elected office, rather it's local politics, rather it's state politics, or rather it's federal politics. We got too many of them that's just sitting there who believe that I own this seat, I earned this seat. I remember when the Paynes would say, this is a Payne seat. I'd be like, what are you talking about? This is a Payne seat. No, this is the 10th Congressional District seat. And I love Donald Payne, senior and junior. But this is not the Payne seat. Like, it's that thinking in our communities, to me, that stopped us from going out and organizing and doing what's necessary for us to go out here and fight against what has just happened, because that's done. You can harp on it. You can play around with it, act like, oh, no. Get your leaders up, get their behind out there, and start organizing, like Tariq said, knock on some of these doors, talk to some of these communities that you are in, and build a constituent that's going to put you back in office, because you can do it. Your numbers is there. Just go work for it.
All right. Well, I know that we are getting ready to get to the end of this segment. AI has been doing great clips after the end of at the end of the show that I usually put out the next day. I'm sure we're going to have a lot of great clips from this particular section. Before we get on to, we have our candidates forum next. Any last words from both of you?
Make sure you go out and vote. That's my last word. Make sure you go out and vote. Make sure democracy is real. It's one of the last things that we have that should not be taken away from us, and we shouldn't take it for granted. You have a decision to make. Make sure your decision counts. So vote, stay informed, and follow Rahaman's memes if you can, and also buy Shane with the big rocks.
Hey, you know what I'm saying? And I'm still selling those T-shirts, by the way. Where's the chicken going up very soon? Listen, it's funny to me that I look at this election and people say May 12th. Folks, people have been voting for over 2 weeks right now. It's called mail-in ballots, and this is the reason why the opposition ain't ready. You know what I'm saying? Because they don't understand the voting system. You know what I'm saying, and how the voting system works. And that's the reason why Mayor Baraka and all of his team is going to be reelected. And the truth of the matter is they deserve to be. You know what I'm saying? By the way, just so we clear, you know what I'm saying? They deserve to be reelected. And, you know, somebody new would be in that fourth spot. You know what I'm saying? We'll see who it is, you know, when election comes. But I urge everyone to go out there and exercise their democratic right to vote. The early voting period is coming up, and May 12th is coming up. And, you know what I'm saying? I urge you to go out there and vote. If you believe what you're saying, then do it. And, you know, we're going to be out there fighting. I don't want people to be offended because we fight back. You know what I'm saying? Rahaman Muhammad is not going to stop doing what he's doing. So please stop getting on my Facebook saying all types of silliness. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing because that's what I do. And hopefully that you indulge in the fun and stop being so emotionally tied to a race, and understand that, you know what I'm saying, your feelings that you think that you have, no one cares about them but your family, your mom, your dad, and those close relatives near you. Everybody else don't care because we all got issues. You know what I'm saying? We all got issues. And if your feelings are easily frayed and hurt, then you're in the wrong business. I get people that come up and say the most craziest things about me. Y'all say it. Some of y'all out there saying it right now. And I take it all on the chin. You know what I'm saying? Because it comes with the job. And my feelings ain't in it. And when I see you on the street, I hug you and say hi to you and do all those things because I understand this is the business and the nature that we are in. Understand that business, that nature, and one day you may be successful because May 12th, Raz Baraka and Team Baraka is going to be reelected.
Jonathan, one more thing I want to just say. Make sure you pick up this from the Jersey Social Justice Institute, the nowness of reparations for Black people in New Jersey. You're right on this week?
About the New Jersey John Lewis Voter Empowerment Act here in New Jersey. Right on, though. You right on, though, Altarik.
Make sure you pick it up. Pick it up. It's free. It's a great read. It is free. So pick it up.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. Thank you. And we'll see you soon. We'll see you next time.
Thank you, Zay. Thank you, everybody.
See you later. Bye.
Peace.
Go buy the album.
Hey, get a sandwich. Get a sandwich first.
Terrible. That's terrible.
He ain't brought us no food.
Don't stream the album. Amina, what's up? Hey, John, how you pushing us off for her? How you going to push us off?
Get off the phone. Get off the phone.
Look, it's go.
So let me get out your way.
Thank you, Marcelo.
Hey, take care. Okay, so that was Pastrami Over Politics, and now we are on our candidates forum. But welcome back, Councilwoman Amina Bey. Welcome. And you are running for Central Ward Councilwoman to be reelected, and it is last race was a very tough race, and I know that we want to have all the candidates on here to talk about why they should be elected or reelected. The first area of questions we always ask the candidates, and we asked you this last time, was tell us about your biography and what, based on your biography, will make you the councilwoman for the Central Ward.
Well, first of all, I just want to say thank you. I always enjoy being here. I always think, I do think now that it's a little setup that you had me on after Rahaman and Altarik, because I don't know how you follow them, but I appreciate the opportunity. So peace and blessings to all of you. My bio, my body of work really has prepared me for this opportunity, for this new way to serve. I've been blessed to be in the seat now for 5 whole months. And, you know, when people talk about, you know, everyone's talking about all of the different issues. So you talk about homelessness. I'm the executive director of Newark Emergency Services for Families. I served on shelter population all the time through providing emergency shelter placement, through our partners, providing food and clothes for our residents throughout, not even just Newark, but throughout Essex County, who are food insecure, because that's not just a Newark issue, that's a Essex County issue, it's a New Jersey issue, it's a United States of America issue. Housing insecurity is also an issue, and working in all of these years providing and obtaining money, not just the money that we get from the governments, but actually applying for and been able to obtain over $10 million worth of funding for food and housing, housing assistance, providing back rent and avoiding evictions, and really trying to make sure that our communities stay stable. I also served as the executive director of the Newark Workforce Development Board. So I know what it means to work with the public and the private sector, and to have that not only that communication, but that partnership and that coordination. And that's one of the things that, I started doing when I became a council person, is looking at the ordinances that's on the books. And I've talked about this the last time I was here, about the first source agreement, to make sure that these developers that are coming in, that are receiving financial assistance and incentives from the city, that they follow the first source agreement, and that we enforce it to make sure that Newark residents are the first ones that get opportunities for employment, that Newark vendors are the first ones that get contracts. And if they claim that there's no one available and no one that's qualified, that we make sure that there's finances and money and contributions put into training for Newark residents, to make sure that they're able to participate in the economic boom that's happening in the city, as far as development, not just downtown, but in the Central Ward, but all over the city. Also, when people talk about the youth, I served 15 years as the manager of employment and training programs for the County of Essex. I created the Essex County Youth Resource Center, which is still in existence today. And even as the executive director of the Newark Workforce Development Board, helped to double the number of youth employed through the Summer Youth Employment Program from 1,500 to 3,000, and through the programs that we were able to implement through the Newark One Stop and the Newark Works, and through the Newark Workforce Development Board, actually helped to lower the unemployment rate in the city of Newark from 2014 to 2019, which was my tenure there, from 11.7% down to 5.8. So these are some of the things, in addition to the work that I've already done in community, whether it's through Women in Support of Million Man March, through Sisters in Service, the Muslim Community Relief Fund, organizations that I helped start, separate and apart from my work, to be able to serve the community. I feel that I have been, primed and prepped for this role that I'm currently in. And I see that all of the work that I've done over the years has helped prepare me for what I've been facing since I've been in office. So I know that was a lot. So
no, it's great. We're going to get back to a lot of the policy questions that you talked about. We're going to spend a lot of time on the different policies that you are promoting and what's going on in City Hall. But the first question was a biography question as well. I know a lot of your biography is the things that you've done, but you also have a mom who has known in the community. And now I know that you are running on your own, obviously, but has your mom been influential? How has she helped how has she shaped the person who became a councilwoman?
So my mother, Queen Frederica Bay, and peace and blessings to my mother always. She's my motivation. She's my inspiration. She's the reason that I do any and everything that I've done in community. I've seen her since I was a child. We grew up at 440 Elizabeth Avenue when my parents split. And my mother didn't like the way the services were going down in the building. So she organized the first tenants association that existed in that building. And through that tenants association, organized a rent strike. Now, when they got to the point where they were saying, we're going to, Ms. Bay, they're going to court, we can do all of these things. And if we get money back, that you won't be eligible. We're on Section 8, we paying, $69. And she was saying, well, based on the services we're getting, that's $69, that's too much. But she said, it's not about me, it's about us. And so she did the work anyway, knowing that she wouldn't get the rebate, knowing that she wasn't going to get financially compensated. And that's what you do. And so with that kind of example, how could I not? You know, and so between the Tennis Association, the anti-lynching campaign, the boycott crime campaign, Women in Support of the Million Man March, my mother has done so much in this community. She is a Norker through and through. And so I'm just, if I can do a fraction of what she's done, then I consider myself successful. But yeah, she has been, and she has been itching to be out in these streets. And I you know, I've taken her to different places and everything. My mother's, you know, long time retired, but it's been, you know, not a nice place to be. And I don't like her being involved in that. I don't want, you know, because even though she hasn't been involved, people have tried to involve her. And so I just kind of, you know, but she's definitely been my biggest supporter, my biggest cheerleader. Yeah, Frederica's, yeah, she's been that woman.
So when you are the current councilwoman for the Central Ward, I know that you have talked
Yes.
extensively about the work that you have done, from the organizations that you worked for to the organizations that you founded that were nonprofit organizations that you ran that serve needs. How has that
Yes.
played out in actual policy once you became councilwoman, right? Like, what are some of the things that you've worked on, and what are some of the things that you're proud of, even though you've only been here for a couple of
Yeah.
months?
Well, one of the first things that we did, because again, there's always a lot of talk about the young people and youth, and civic engagement for young people has been, you know, something that's been very important to me. So we instituted in our office the council member for the day, and we have engaged, you know, to date right now, almost 400 students. We have students from schools from all over come to City Hall. We actually teach a civics class. It's not just that we come there and, you know, we give them donuts and we tour around. No, we do tour around, but we actually do a civics class because it's a lot of it is not really being taught in the schools anymore. You know, they don't have the same civics courses that they had, you know, once upon a time when we were in school. And so really trying to educate them on how government works, who's their representative, what that means. You know, I heard the conversations before talking about, you know, the voting rights and everything that's been happening and the attack on our democracy. They need to know that because they're at the age, and especially we have the 16 to 17-year-olds now that have the right to vote, you know, based on the ordinance that was put forth by my predecessor, now Congresswoman LaMonica McIver. They need to be educated on what that means and the role and responsibility of every resident, every citizen for civic engagement and social action. So that's one of the things we've been doing. Also, going through the ordinances that's already on the books and look and see what needs to be strengthened. Because again, when we're talking about housing and development, there's a lot of talk about affordable housing, and people are under the misconception that the city of Newark sets the housing prices and the city of Newark does not. The developers charge what they're allowed to be charged based on the calculation through HUD. Something that we've been working on and having conversations with different legislators to talk to and do some advocacy to HUD around changing the calculation so that the city of Newark is a standalone municipality when it comes to calculating the median income, which which drives what is listed as affordable. Have that based on Newark's median income, not the region that includes Morris and Sussex County, which drives that up. You know, so those are some of the things that we've been working on, and of course, trying to just abate so many different issues of quality of life issues with the residents. But when we talk about ordinances and when we're talking about policy issues, so much around affordable housing and, you know, development and actually, you know, doing more advocacy with our youth inside, because you know that the city of Newark does not control the school board, of course, but being more of an advocate for our youth and making sure that they know and understand what's happening around them.
Okay. Does anyone else want to ask questions about policy? Zaid, Ed? Zaid?
Got it. Now, y'all know how I feel on this one, so I'm not gonna say nothing.
Well, you should, like, you weigh in. I mean, this is All Politics Are Local. We're all hosts. Like, just weigh in, say what you want to say, and also do the, ask the question. If not, we can move on to the next one. But
No, I'm gonna let Zaid go. I mean, obviously, I got some questions, but I want
Go ahead,
Zaid.
go ahead, because y'all know where I am with her, and I'm not going to apologize or do anything.
Well, Zaid, when you say that, you have to actually be explicit, because people don't know, and so they're like, you know who I am, and that could be negative. Like, I'm not going to ask any questions. So
They know.
you could just be explicit with it.
Oh, they know.
So,
Go ahead,
all right.
So if Zaid is not going to ask a question, I think I'm going to ask Amina the same question I've asked the mayor 12 years ago, and it's a pretty deep question, Amina, but I think you can handle it. Do you really understand, Amina? The hope that our people, our community, me, my wife, have in you. And I'm saying that's based on your pedigree of our great mother, Frederica Bay. Do you really understand the hope that people have in you? Do you understand that?
So I'm gonna be honest with you, brother, and I appreciate that. I thought I did until I got here. And so, and let me tell you what, because when I tell you that, and I know that my mother's been loved and respected, and she's, done so many, great things, but when I tell you everywhere I go, someone is like, you're Frederica's daughter, you're Frida's daughter. You got to do this. Like, when I tell you the community is on me, they are making it. If I feel like that kid in the neighborhood that, I know that I can't act up because Miss So-and-so down the street is going to tell my mother this, like, we know where you come from. We know who raised you. We know what was poured in you. And so we want to let you know that, we're rooting for you. We support you. We love and support your mom, but we're going to hold you accountable. We're watching you. We're going to make sure, because we know what it's supposed to be. We know how you're supposed to show up. So it's that love and that respect for my mother, is that love and that hope and that, that having faith in me, that I am going to be the person that my mother raised me to be, that the community has raised me to be, and I'm doing my absolute best to live up to it. But I didn't realize it was as strong, because when I tell you, everyone, everywhere I go, every community meeting, there's someone, my mother, someone that worked with my mother, that worked when she worked in the school system, that worked with her when she was doing real estate, that worked with her through wisdom, that grew up with her on 15th Avenue, all of the things, that went to Weequahic High School with her. I get all of the stories. I get all of the stories, and they are telling me, like, we are hopeful that you are who you say you are. And who you are, who we know your mother has raised you to be. And so I can't afford this. Is not a game. And it's not a game at all.
And that is how community and our elders keep us grounded.
Right.
Yeah.
That's grounding.
Yeah. And I appreciate it. I'm gonna be honest. In the beginning, I was just like, because I'm out here. I'm on my own, but I'm not on my own, because you're never on your own when you have a village. You're never on your own when you have ancestors. You're never on your own when you have people that are lifting you up, that are praying for you, that are supporting you. It's not just about, they're donating to your campaign, but they are really seriously rooting for you and speaking your name high in rooms that you're not in. And so I understand that. And in the beginning, I was just like, at first it was just like, oh God, can I go anywhere without somebody mentioning my mother?
No.
But I understand, right? No, the answer is no. Yeah. And I understand that, and I am so proud of what she has accomplished and what she has poured into the city. My mother has left a indelible mark on Newark, New Jersey, and it's just a wonderful thing. And so I walk with my head held high with pride every single day through the city because of her.
And that's why.
If you get the,
that's why, Amina, one of the things I said to the mayor, and I'm saying it to you publicly, you need to be clear, Amina, that you don't just represent you represent the me and the Zaids of the world, right?
Yeah.
So, because we love your mother and because we love you, we're going to be hard on you, right?
Yes.
We're not going to come easy, and John is not going to come easy with questions. We're going to come hard because, you know, our hope is in you, right? And we know that when people attack you, they're attacking us too. So I just wanted to ask you that because I asked the mayor that 12 years ago too. So just, you know, just so you understand that we got high expectations for you.
Oh no, I definitely understand that, but the thing is that that's what you need. You know, people, you don't get stronger when you're not tested. It's like when you're working out and the muscle, and you have to stretch it. And so if people are always, you know, lobbing softballs, or just, you know, everything is sunshine and roses, you don't grow, you don't get stronger, you don't get, you know, wiser. You know, that's where the experience comes from. So no, I need that. We all need that. And that's part of the reason why we're in the situation that we're in nationally, because, you know, nobody's, you know, holding a bunch of crazy people accountable. So no, that's love and respect, and I appreciate it.
So I'm gonna jump in with 3 questions of love and respect, right? Like, so if you are elected, if you are reelected, what is the policy that you are most, that your constituents can most depend on you for? Like, what is the issue that you're going to fight for? If it's more than one, and like if it's 2, what are those top issue or the top 2 issues
that I'm going to fight for, that we've already started fighting for? So the one thing is around the affordable housing issue, because the thing is that in general, the rents aren't going to go down. You know, developers and owners, property owners, are going to charge as much as they can. They are in the business to make money. That's their job. It's not my job to interfere with their job. My job is to protect the residents. And so the only way to do that is to make sure, and this has been done before, is to make sure that Newark has its own standalone calculation. Okay. And that's something that can be done. It's going to take some work, but we all, when I say we, I mean the you know, all of the elected officials and the legislators have to do that. But that is something that I'm definitely working on. To also, and again, these are the same things. Is I'm not recreating the wheel. I'm not trying to, you know, say something new because now it's a new election. No, it's the same thing that I said before. Also, on the developments, to ensure that Newark residents are benefiting from this, that the community benefits agreements are real, that they're actual real community benefits in the agreements, and to make sure that Newark residents are on the job and that Newark vendors are being contracted with.
Can you break down what is the community benefit agreement? What is that?
Okay, so a community benefit agreement, when developers come in and they're receiving you know, incentives from the city and doing business with the city, there has to be some type of benefit to the community. That's something that the city has put together, a benefit to the community. And it can be it's looked like a lot of different things over the years. Some have contributed to education and training funds, you know, through the workforce. There have been, in part of their development, maybe there's been a set aside for, you know, community center, a place where, you know, communities can meet and be provided some type of services. And, you know, if there's a store, some type of discount of goods and services to the community that, you know, in that neighborhood, something that's tangible. And so I think that there needs to be a little bit more pressure on and community involvement with making sure that the community gets what they actually need. So these meetings are called these community meetings, but we have to make sure that they're advertised so people show up. So they'll call a community meeting and 2 people show up. They say, hey, we had the meeting. Nobody asked for anything, so we're just going to go forth, because they checked the box, and we have to get away from that. And so we need to change, make changes to the ordinance, if we need to make changes to the law, if we need to create a new one, but we need to fix that to make sure that there is a real engagement in the community so they get to have their say. That's one of the reasons why people are so angry. Not because, you know, it's something, you know, mystical, but because people feel like they're not being heard, that they're not being seen. And we have a responsibility to do that, to make sure that they're seen and heard in a real intentional way. And so those are the some of the things that we've been working on, and especially when it comes to the housing issue, and also when we talk about tax abatements, the first thing that we need to do is educate the community on what that means, because everybody feels that, tax abatements means that people, the developers, they pay zero taxes or nothing. No, that's not the case. But there's also tax abatements that are available for Newark homeowners, and a lot of people don't know that. So one of the main things that we're also doing is putting information together to educate the community on what's happening. There's so many things that's on the books in the city of Newark. There's so many programs, so many tools, so many resources, not just for businesses, but for individuals, for residents, and to make sure that people know and understand that. We want to make sure that there's a real mentoring and resource toolkit that's put together in City Hall for small businesses, for people who are Newark residents that want to open businesses. We can't continue with these grand openings and grand closings. And I know that we have Invest Newark, which is great, and we have the Newark Alliance, which is great, and they're great partners. But we also have all of these things right here in City Hall, and we need to make it readily accessible and available. People need to know about it. Everybody doesn't know to go to Invest Newark. Everybody doesn't know to go to Newark Alliance or even know what they do. But we have a responsibility as the elected officials, because the residents pay us through their taxes. We work for them. We have a responsibility to make sure that they get that information.
Yep.
I'm sorry, I know that was a lot, but it's just
No, that's fine. That's the one of the last questions that we're going to ask is that there was a few years ago, there was a highly controversial, very divisive thing that happened at Global Studies in terms of race relations, right? Like there were people accused of using the N-word. There were ramifications to that, right? And many people thought that there were larger problems of race and racial tension between Black and Latino communities within Newark. The politician in the Central Ward and all wards, I mean the wards there, we have a growing and a diverse community. What would you do to, well, first, do you see this as an issue or a problem? And if so, what would you do to unify the community and alleviate many of those tensions?
I see it as an issue that people are trying to create an issue. I'm trying to figure out how we went from the Black and Puerto Rican Convention that helped usher in the first Black mayor and first people of color, to run the city, to now that we, are having these type of issues. Because the fact of the matter is that there are people who benefit greatly from dividing and conquering people of color, and trying to pit us against each other and to separate us. And so we need to have those conversations out loud. We do. And we need to have those conversations out loud. And I don't think the conversations are being happening. I think that people are throwing accusations and they're just speaking negatively, but we're not conversing with each other. I said, so one of the first things that we need to do is that we need to have the conversations and get the parties in the room and really talk to people about what is happening and how we can, understand that we are so much stronger together than we are apart, that what benefits one should be able to benefit the other. It's not an us and them type of situation, but other people come in and try to create that. And while we're fighting each other, other people are winning. They're taking money out of our schools. They're taking money out of our community, and they are turning us against each other so we can kill each other, and then they benefit, and that has to stop. And so we need to really come to an understanding about what is real and what is perceived, what is real and what is contrived. And I don't think that has happened yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that was the final question. And I think that anything else right now, we'll let you have that last word. We have our next guest who's going to follow you, the South Ward Councilman, who will be on right afterwards. So what is your line? And also we should do this for all of the people who are running for office. When you put your name, you should also put your line. I think that you are which not line, but which What
My
is your
ballot
number
number
and letter?
is 1C. Everything you've been seeing out that says C1, but actually on the ballot is 1C. So we need to make sure that we brand it. So Amina Bay, Central Ward Councilwoman, 1C, May 12th. We ask everyone to come out and vote. Early voting starts May 8th. Early voting is May 8th through May 10th. So people can still come out and vote. You have the vote by mail ballots that are home. Mail them in, bring them in, but we need everyone to please come out and vote.
And Amina, I wanna thank you very much for mentioning the Black and Latino Convention. I think that those are the things that I think you can speak to, right? That's part of your pedigree. That's part of your mother's pedigree here in this city. I think those are the things that you can speak to on behalf of the community. When we start talking about what happened at Global Studies, because I don't know if you remember, John and I did a community meeting down there with those students at City Hall. And Zaid, you recall, we invited Felipe Luciano to come in and talk about that. So, Amina, we appreciate you being able to bring that up. And as I say, that's your pedigree. Those are the things I think you can talk about and really add some depth to that when you talk about, the lack of unity or the unity for Black and Latinos in this community.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say how much I appreciate you and just having this forum, just allowing us to come on and have these conversations, because they're not happening everywhere. I don't know what's happening, but people want to throw stones but not have real conversations and talk about history and coalition building and how we move our people forward in an intentional and focused way. So I appreciate you.
Yep. Thank you.
We appreciate you back. Take care and good luck.
Thank you.
All right. See you.
All right. So we are going through it. Today is candidates night. And my apology, I think on the stuff that I put out earlier, I mistakenly said Central Ward Councilman. That was just a typo. The South Ward Councilman, Pat Council, is here representing the mighty South Ward. Welcome to All Politics Are Local. Hello?
You're muted, Pat.
Yeah, you're
I'm right
muted.
here. Good.
Oh, good. We can hear you.
Hello?
Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we hear you.
Good evening, man. Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for having me on All Politics Are Local. Once again, no stranger to this show, man. So I'm just delighted to always be on here. And in the words of Chuck D in Public Enemy, don't believe the hype.
Well, we are glad to have you back on. You are a frequent regular guest from the time that from back when we first started our program, before you were a councilperson. I believe you have been on our show. So welcome back to All Politics Are Local. We are asking the candidates questions running for election and re-election. And the first question is, what about your biography, right, is good for a re-election for councilman in the South Ward? Tell us something about your biography, who you are, and why your biography means that you should be re-elected.
Jonathan, I think that's a great question. One, because sometimes you got to go backwards to come forward, like that whole bow and arrow effect, because sometimes people forget. One, they forget I'm an organizer. I'm a community activist. I've been in this struggle for over 40-something years. Been in these streets organizing and fighting for the rights and upliftment of our people, for freedom, justice, and equality. I'm a former educator, taught third grade for real for 6 years. I'm a homeowner in the South Ward and a founder of a Little League Pop Warner cheer organization that is now expanded to a wrestling organization. I have the auspices to be able to have over 20 years of governmental experience, administrative experience, and not only that, have served in the reentry component. When I came out of college, worked in the Kentucky House. So I have a footprint of knowledge around what needs to happen in reentry circles, around educational circles, and I've served on the administrative level and legislative level here in the city of Newark, former manager of Recreation and Cultural Affairs, former director of Recreation and Cultural Affairs, and former director of Neighborhood and Recreational Services before it was split and turned into DPW and the Recreation, Cultural Affairs, and Senior Services. So I have a vast amount of knowledge, not just by way of what happens in city government, but also what happens intricately on our streets and our community, fighting for our youth, our young people, as well as our seasoned saints throughout the city, and being a true agent of change here in the city. I was the youth chair of the Million Man March in 1995, that historic march that led over a million men to Washington, D.C. To reclaim our dignity and our peace. Was former PTA president of George Washington Carver Elementary School, served on the Newark Board of Education from 2004 to 2007. So I've been in this fight. I've been present. I've been active in these streets. I've been making sure that wherever we go, that the upliftment and understanding of who we are as a people gets heard and doesn't go astray. And so we continuously have been working here, never stopped. I'm a co-founder of Newark Anti-Violence Coalition. I heard the mighty call on that day our dear sister was gunned down on Mika Avenue. And I was the former president of Newark Preschool Council, which was the largest Head Start organization in the state of New Jersey, headed to legacy status before federal intervention. An individual stepped in to take over and ruin a great organization such as Newark Preschool Council. Avid fighter for our unions and livable wages and fights for our people. And so I understand where we need to go in terms of struggle and in terms of unity. And so this is why, you know, we continue to work in the city, to lift it up, to move. I'm truly a servant of this city and glad to serve in this South Ward community, not just as the councilman, but a continued advocate for what is right and what is righteous.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that answer. Second question, line of questioning is dealing with policy. What is the policy that you are most proud of pushing? And if you are reelected, what is the policy or issue that is the most important thing you need to do in your next term?
So again, thank you for that question. As it relates to policy and policy intervention, I've been the most active councilperson on this council, passing the most legislation that affects our residents overall. Some of the ordinances that we've passed, the clear zone ordinance that says that individuals cannot be 10 to 20 feet in front of commercial businesses, to give our residents an opportunity to be able to go in these stores and become producers and consumers, to have these store owners have the safety and wherewithal to be able to come out and clean in front of their stores 18 inches to the curb, to make sure they're providing a clean space. One of the greatest policies that we've written to help to fight against these illegal conversions in our city is a stop work ordinance that says that if someone comes into your house and discovers that it is an illegal conversion and the house is posted, that the landlord has to pay that individual 6 months back rent, has to put that individual up until they find a place to go. And if the contractor or subcontractor is continuously working on that property, they too are fined for putting our people in these kind of situations and conditions.
What do you mean by an illegal conversion? What is that?
An illegal conversion is units that are supposed to be designed to either be 2-family structures or 3-family structures that have been turned into 6-family units, or a 1-family home that's been turned into 2 or 3-family structures without adequate or rightfully permits, or without information that is coming from zoning giving them the right to adjust the growth of that apartment as they continue to work forward. So there's many folks who have come through this city who have sold their homes, given their homes up, and allowed individuals to purchase these homes and begin to illegally convert them to maximize their capital gain, but at the same time put a strain and hurt on the burden of our people in these communities. And so this ordinance stops that because it gives us the right to put a list pendant on the property. It gives us the right to board up the property if there's no one living in the property and we find it to be illegal conversion. And if there's someone living in the property, then that individual that's living in the property gets 6 months back rent and the owner has to put them up until they find another place to go. We're also proud of an ordinance that spreads out where our bodegas, convenience stores, and variety stores live, that they have to be 500 feet apart, because what it does is it gives us the opportunity as residents and business owners to become innovative of what we look at along these corridors, and putting more different landscapes of businesses in place, that as shoppers and as individuals that are building density all around the city can be able to have residents have a plethora of different options along our corridors, aside for the average chicken shack, bodega, convenience store, and variety store. And so all of these ordinances that we continue to pass and work on, I'm super proud about. As we move forward, we're working on an ordinance now. It's called the Eco Village Ordinance, that will hold all environmental people in environmental zones that have caused environmental degradation and waste upon our communities to have to pay into a fund that we can then go back and invest into our ward to bring about environmental education, environmental justice training, and help to produce green jobs for residents in our community. And so I'm super excited about that. We're working on a window ordinance that will hopefully allow all of these large buildings, 200 units or 150 units or more, to have window inspections 10 years or more to make sure about wind erosion, rain erosion, and the fact that some of these windows just fall out of place because of a long period of decay, that they're being
And is
monitored.
that the thing that you're just talking about? That's something that you're fighting for now, right? And is that a response to a tragedy that happened in with a building, a child in a high rise?
So there was a tragedy that happened on Elizabeth Avenue with a young 2-year-old, and we continue to pray for that family and that mother. But the real tragedy is our awareness to deal with all of these individuals who purchase these properties and don't want to put maintenance plans in place, but want to benefit off the backs of the residents that live in these places and look for great capital gain. And we have to understand, as servants, as public servants, even as elected officials, that our capital is human capital. We have to care about the respect, the wherewithal, and the livelihood of every resident in this municipality. And I fight for that every day in the South Ward.
Now, I'll open this up. We're going to continue talking about policies, things that have been done in the South Ward, things that you're proud of, and also what you are wanting to work for in the future. Like if you have another term, then what are some of those? What are some more of the priorities? But Zaid and Ed, do you have questions, especially relating to policy? Zaid?
Not at
Can't
the
hear a
moment.
word you're saying.
Not at the moment. Go ahead, Ed.
So,
Okay, Ed?
yeah. So for me, Pat, two questions, and I think John alluded to it a moment ago. What are some policies, one that you most proud of that you were able to accomplish in your first term, and what is a policy that you want to put forth going into a new term if you're reelected?
Right. So to elaborate on that.
Yeah. So again, some of these policies that I talked about, a continuation of some of them. I passed a policy that deals with registered agents, where all of these LLCs, they have to register as registered agents. They have to leave a real name of someone that the city can be able to get in contact with in case there's an incident or emergency, or even if the city has to go into some kind of legal discourse or conversation with them. For so many times, a lot of the LLCs used to hide behind an LLC, but now in the city of Newark, you have to register as a registered agent and have that information documented. We also passed an ordinance that dealt with abandoned properties and vacant lots, to say that individuals must keep these vacant lots and abandoned properties cleaned and built. or we will tax you equivalent to what the tax was on that property. So we've been, very vigilant around quality of life issues and making sure that all of these issues are in place so that it affects the livelihood and living of all of our residents in the city. We've also passed the ordinance that requires individual buildings of 40 units or more to have emergency generators in these buildings that protects us against weather and storms that may come their way. And for our seasoned saints that live in a lot of these apartment buildings, that if one generator goes down, there's an emergency generator in place that kicks right on, that we can be able to make sure that they are still hooked up to their oxygen machines or whatever medical equipment that is being utilized in that time. So I've been
Wow,
very
I didn't even know.
proactive.
I was
Yes,
going to say, I didn't even know that buildings did not have emergency generators. I thought all
absolutely.
buildings that large had emergency generators. That's not true?
No, no, that's not true. That's not true.
Wow.
Until we passed the ordinance, the majority of them were just allowed to have the generator that they had in place. Many of them were not required by law to have any backup generators, and so we've done that. And as we talk along, the question that Ed said, not just we want to talk about environmental justice, our window ordinance, but we also passed the ordinance at the bequest of the young man that passed away in West Side Park because of lack of administration of services and not being able to have CPR adequately applied or no adults in place without emergency plans or plans of actions. We've passed an ordinance that says that any organization that wants to utilize city recreational space, that they must have an emergency plan of action. They must be CPR certified, all of those individuals that are in place. And not only that, but they also have to have access to the equipment that is needed to be able to help anyone that is in distress. So we've been
Okay.
active. We've been working in the South Ward, making sure that we're providing resources, opportunity, but also strategy around policy that just does not affect folks in the short term, but it has, long-term goals behind it.
And Pat, let's talk about what you want to do if you're reelected. One of the things the mayor said to me was, he said that, there was some unfinished business. And so he said that, I don't want to just be reelected just to be hanging around for 4 years. I've got some things I want to do. Yeah. So what are some of those things, Pat? You've done a lot in 4 years that obviously, is to the better of our community. But what are some of those things that you want to do, that you want to get done in the next 4 years that you haven't done thus far?
Yeah, I think it's important, Ed, that we continue to invest in our local businesses, our small businesses in particular, that we continue to grow them. As you know, I don't even know how many people understand that we have the Marriott that's right on Freeland-Heisen Avenue that sits right on top of a parking garage that is utilized in there. Other small businesses that are growing up and moving around the South Ward. I want to be able to see the expansion
Wait,
and
hold
growth
on,
and
stop.
movement.
You said
Yep,
there's a Marriott in the South Ward?
there's a Marriott in the South Ward on Freeland-Heisen Avenue.
Okay. I did
And
not know
so,
that.
yeah, and so that's just important because one, it just lends way to the development and makeup along Freeland-Heisen Avenue. I want to see Freeland-Heisen Avenue front faced. I want to begin to see the auspices of growth and business development, not just as Lion Gate comes, not just as the transit hub that we have that will be able to allow people to take New Jersey Transit from Freeland-Heisen Avenue to Lower Manhattan, but the expansion and growth and development of Route 27, which is known as Freeland-Heisen Avenue. I want to make sure that we're producing 27 the same way that Edison Route 27 is produced, the same way that Cranford Route 27 looks, the same way that Elizabeth Route 27 looks. And we have the capacity to be able to do so.
Okay.
If I didn't know better, Pat, I'd say you ready to be the councilman.
I'm ready. You know, we've been working from day one. You know, we've have one of the greatest projects that we started called the Brick City Showdown Basketball Classic, where we've already given out over $30-something thousand just in scholarships back to young people in high school. We've committed and worked with Hearts Mountain, where we've given out over $100,000 to young people in high school. So the work that we're doing is intentional, is specific, and is driven to make sure that our people are growing, they feel the impact of it, and that we understand the movement and direction of what it is that we need to do. There's growth and that is happening all around the South Ward. There's development that is happening all around the South Ward that has the hands of Black and brown people all over it. But more importantly, what we have to do is continue to keep investing in our community, keep investing in our businesses. And one of the things that I would love to see is our growth as it relates to our community-based organizations and our nonprofits. Because as we continue to pour resources and finances into them, they are the intricate hubs that will pour into our people and lift them up through rental assistance, through job track services, through services that they provide, a conglomerate of services that we have. That's why we started the South Ward Consortium. We have a consortium that meets quarterly, that has every nonprofit organization and CBO that comes together to talk about the resources that they have, where people can be able to come in and have policy discussion and to be able to have access to every resource that's in the room to be able to grow in that manner. That's why we started an anchor institution organization. So while people are talking about small business and small business development, we have the individuals at the table actually working with them. Coombs Accounting, Toby Accounting, Grit Pizzeria, the Marriott Comfort Suites on Freeland Heisen Avenue, all of these small businesses that continue to grow and move to talk about the expansion and work and will of capacity of what it is that we need to do to continue to grow and move the South Ward forward. And so all of these things are important, and it's important to be able to have a voice at the table that can articulate these in a manner that understands that Newarkers should always be at the table and in place. So it doesn't matter if we're fighting at the port or if we're fighting at the airport. We're fighting for the resources and movement of our people in the city of Newark as well as in the South Ward.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so the final area of question that I want to get to is about unity within the city. A few years ago at Global Studies High School, there was an incident that many people say that, or a series of incidents that many people say was part of deteriorating race relations within the city between Blacks and Latinos. And there were ugly incidents that took place, and many thought that there was something larger. There twofold question on this. Do you think that there is a problem between Blacks and Latinos in the city of Newark? And if so, what is it that you would do to create more unity within the city between different communities?
Yeah, I think the problem is with the adults. You know, I know Brother Zayed would probably agree with me on that. And the problem, again, is also understanding that culture is freedom. Like, so we should not be enslaved to not understand who we are, who we want to be. We should understand that the more we recognize who we are, we can see the patterns of what has become through us, our movement, our dance, our genre, the beats that we play. And so when we understand the greatness of who we are, and all that comes from what we intrinsically do and how we continue to learn about the growth and development of who our people are, the greatness of who our people are, learning from Queen Nzinga all the way to Brother Kwame Ture. Understand all of that.
You're starting to break up, Pat.
You're breaking up. You're on a roll and you are breaking up.
Ready to get into Kwame Ture, which is right up my alley, when you started breaking up.
All right, so right now we can't hear you.
Oh, man.
You are on a roll right now. I know you're on a roll, but we literally cannot hear a word you're saying. You are totally broken up right now.
I don't think the enemy want that part to be said, Zay.
Yeah, like you were on a roll. I know you were talking about the similarity, the roots of our sameness in culture, and why the roots of our sameness in culture should unify us, or something along those lines. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but right now we cannot hear you. So yeah, everything is blurry.
Man,
We
it's
don't even hear a
bad,
word.
Pat. It's
Like you were on
bad.
a roll and we did not hear anything.
It's bad.
Try
Oh my
going out.
God.
If you can hear or understand me, try going out and then coming back in. Because right now we're not even hearing words.
Yeah, you muffled.
Yeah, we just hear static. We have when you started saying that, it's almost like a conspiracy. You're talking about Black and Latino unity, and then all of a sudden we can't hear you. It's just yeah. So that's wild. You think conspiracy? He starts talking about unifying Blacks and Latinos, and all of a sudden it's we can't hear a word he's saying. It's just been muffled. It's like no, can't say it, can't hear it. He starts quoting from scholars, and all of a sudden, nope, can't do that. Can't do that. Hopefully, he'll come back in and finish up on that last question. Just as a big public announcement, we try to do interviews with candidates who are running and opposed, right? Like so, there are candidates that we have that are not on the mayor's ticket who are here last week, who will be here hopefully next week. We have given invites to lots of people. We will try to get lot of people who are running for candidate on. Unfortunately, we will not be able to get everyone on simply because there are a lot of people running this time. But contact us at allpoliticsarolocal@gmail.com. We have gotten people on because there were a few people who are running for mayor that we've had on. We have two other people who are running in the South Ward who are on. Oh, great! So so we can start from the beginning on the question of Black and Latino unity because we did not hear anything. Like you got on a roll and then all of a sudden it was static. We like it's a conspiracy. Are you back?
I'm back.
You are not back. We cannot hear you. Check. Okay, so we can't hear you, but right now, check on the left-hand side of your control panel. There's a mic thing, and there's a part of a triangle that's going up. Click on that and make sure that your mic and your headphones are what you want them to be. You can also, when you go out and come back, you can also test your sound to see if your sound is good. It may be where you were stopped because you're on your cell phone right now. So it may be where you're stopped right now is in a bad spot. If you could, that also is if the mic thing doesn't work, you might just be in a dead spot or a spot that is that lost its signal feed. So if you go to a different place, then you might be able to get that back.
He was definitely on the roll.
Very much.
At the point he said Queen and Zinga, I think they took him off.
Right. You can't say Queen and Zinga on online anymore. It's surveillance. It's surveillance.
You say that Facebook get rid of you. We gotta get him off.
They get rid of me.
We're on Facebook and YouTube. So hopefully maybe he's playing on YouTube. We just don't know it. We're streaming on StreamYard, so we're going to different platforms.
And John, especially when you start talking about identity politics. You know what I mean?
Right, and it talks about unity in it, right?
Yeah.
Started talking about the unification of culture and how we have so many similarities that we need to embrace, especially knowing who we are, knowing that we all have roots that come from Africa, that we have often, in many instances, it is the same ship, different stops.
That's right.
So the ships that took them to Puerto Rico took our same ancestors, the same people on the same ship. Some got dropped off in Puerto Rico, some got dropped off in South Carolina.
That's right. And that's the thing they don't want us to know. And Zaid, your girl Josie was the one who got on a roll last week. We had to move on, but stop it.
Who's chiming in the chat? I see her.
Yeah.
So I've always it's funny. I've always talked to many of our students, and a lot of when people know that history, a lot of it's eye-opening. I remember having a student who she was a Black Dominican, right? And I made a comment in class. We were talking about race, and I was like, "Black women like yourself." She was like, "I'm not Black. I'm Dominican," and almost started crying. Like literally was upset by this. And I know we had a conversation. I told her, go home, talk to your mom, and and give education around it. And then she realized that that Dominican is a nationality, and that there is a history of the slave trade. They're on the same island as Haiti, and that their origins in terms of Africa is nothing to be ashamed of. It's everything to be proud of, right? Like, so you can be of different nationality and still Black, right? Like the Afro-Latinos, and the ways in which our culture forms and grows. I would say that many Latinos are more in touch with African religion, culture, depending on how they do it, than many in the United States, because a lot of our religion and culture was taken from us in a more complete way, based on the ways that the transatlantic slave trade worked with Spain and Portugal, as opposed to England and their policies on destroying culture. All right, we have Councilman, Southward Councilman Pat Council. You back?
Trying to pop back in. He's having some connection issues.
I think I'm here.
There we go.
Okay, you are here. Okay.
I'm here.
You shouldn't have never mentioned Queen and Zinga.
I said Queen and Zinga, and the enemy took me out. Because evil can't stand up to truth, brothers.
You know that's right.
We know that's right.
So get
Okay,
back
so
to
we know what's right. And so our struggle, right? Because one of the tenements that we understand is that there's unity and struggle. And so when we struggle together around principles that we know is right, and we become righteous, we win in them. We don't win because of them. We win while we're in it. And so our fight and our cause for freedom and liberation has just been that. And one of the problems is we can't be afraid as adults to tell the story. We've gotten so afraid that we don't want to tell the story. And so we don't tell the story. The story is of the greatness of who we are as a people, who we are from the continent to the diaspora, who we are from the diaspora to the continent, and from how we were shaped and formed on the islands and moved from the islands here to these United States to become the greatness of the people that we still are. And if we understand the greatness of that unity and move in accordance with it, we can understand how we are all working and woven together in this beautiful tapestry called Black. As Sheikh Ante Diop said, there can be no study of a worldview without studying the African worldview first. So when we get confused over who we are, we fall into this kind of melting pot theory. When John Henrik Clarke says, no, we should have a salad bowl theory. Let the tomatoes be the tomatoes, and the onions be the onions, and the cucumbers be the cucumbers, recognizing the richness and zeal and love and all of that, with all of it having its own ingredients, its own taste, its own movement, and recognizing that together it makes a beautiful tapestry of a salad. And that's who we are as Black and Latino people in this community. We are a beautiful tapestry of a wonderful salad that's been made for us, and wants to be separated and create division amongst others to keep us at bay from providing and gaining the power that is necessary to fight back against these systems and structures that have been putting us down for a long period of time.
Oh, Pat, I think you're showing off now. I think you're showing off.
Okay, so let people know what is your ticket number, your ballot number, and
I'm
when the election is.
I'm C7, right? And I'm C7 on purpose, because you can see freedom, you can see justice, you can see understanding, you can see righteousness, you can see development, you can see movement, you can see presence. So that's why I'm C7.
And let's talk about that number 7, Pat, from a spiritual perspective.
Huh? You know, it's the number of completion.
There you go. There it is.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, man, for coming out again on All Politics Are Local. Again, you are very, very commonly, very familiarly on here. We have you on a lot. We're always happy to have you back.
I appreciate it, man. Give us our voting rights back. We need to take them back. We don't ask for them back. We got to stand.
Right.
We got to stand. If our ancestors stood, brothers, this is a critical time in our country's history and period. Right. We got to be willing to stand up and fight for what our ancestors fought for.
That's
Martin took a bullet. Mega took a bullet. And we got to be willing to stand up and fight and get people to understand that the more we try to get people to suppress votes by talking about negative things, by trying to move us to an area that really does not enrich who we are as a people, it confines our growth and development, and it helps those who are really trying to oppress us. Listen, I know a lot of people remember that, John Lewis said he starts good trouble. But before there was a John Lewis, brother Ed Raleigh, there was a C. Vernon John who says, if you see a good fight, go get in it.
That's right. That's right.
Now, this is a good fight right here. And we need to get up and get ready to get in it. We can't sit on the sideline on this one.
Right.
That's what I've been waiting to hear.
We can't sit on the sideline.
Absolutely.
And people can't be quiet.
That's true, right? Not now, but thank you for coming
appreciate
out.
You, man.
We appreciate you back. We appreciate you back, man. Good luck.
Thank you,
my brother.
All right. That was great. We are doing candidates tonight. We expect to have another candidate up soon, and actually we do have a candidate backstage. We're going to put them on right now. We have Dr.
I think Roundtree's trying to get in.
Okay, she's good.
She's asking me to send her a link to her email, so I'm gonna send her the link.
Okay.
All right.
And then we'll jump on with Dr. Alturrick White right after that scheduled interview. But he's here. If she's having trouble getting on, we'll just switch the order that we had.
I think she just said she's just asking us to send a link to her email address.
Okay. Let's do that. I'm going to do that right now. Meanwhile, Ed, you can talk about while I send this link to the email address. Ed, you can talk about, actually, Zaid, talk about the Voting Rights Act, what happened. We're going to definitely be dedicating a lot of time to that. But while we get this straightened out, let's just jump on that.
Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act, which checks and prevents and prohibits the gerrymandering of voting districts to prevent and dilute Black voting power, is what at the heart of this Supreme Court decision, and gives more energy to the engine that Trump has been using and the megas have been using to use state agendas to redistrict as many districts as they can to create an artificial Republican majorities, and totally getting away from what's supposed to happen every 10 years with districting and redistricting based on the census, right? And so what's happening with this, as soon as this decision came down, you're going to start to see states that have Republican governors right away go in and do a gerrymandering number to create more Republican districts in terms of congressional representation to ensure that Republicans continue to maintain the majority in the Congress. And it's totally foul. Totally foul. Now, the other thing,
Zaid, we have our guest here. We are gonna have a lot more of an extensive conversation about this. But welcome, Reverend Louise Scott-Rountree. You are the current councilwoman. You are one of the current councilwomen at large. Welcome to our show again, because you are part of our show. You are here every fourth Friday, so you are not just a guest. You are a friend of the program, obviously, because you were here before you were a councilwoman. You were on All Politics Are Local. So welcome back. Welcome back this time not as a host, but as a candidate running for public office. Welcome back.
For re-election.
For re-election.
Yes. Good evening, good evening, good evening to my family at All Politics Local. Give me 1 second. Thank you so very much for inviting me to join my All Politics Local family for another platform. One of the things I don't do, unless it's necessary, Brother Baba, is talk about Roundtree. Because the work that we do is never about Roundtree me. It's about the community. So thank you for having me on, along with some of my colleagues, to talk about whatever it is you want to talk about. Brother
Well,
Ed,
we're going to jump in.
local, number one. Y'all know
we're going to jump in with our first question that we've been asking everyone, and that is the question about biography. What is there about your biography that makes you the candidate for the at-large candidate for the city of Newark, New Jersey? And what has about your biography has informed your time in office?
Okay, so the second part of that question, when you say informed, let's go back to the beginning. The beginning for me was having parents that were activists, not on the Baracus level, but on the level of economic development, meaning that my mom was an entrepreneur. My dad was affiliated with UCC back when they had area boards, which I was not old enough to know about or even a part of. I did work at UCC, just to come full circle, as a volunteer when I was 13 years old. There was a woman named Catherine V. Taylor who was in charge of senior services for United Community Corporation. She also worked for the Leaguers. So at a very early age, I was introduced to community service, to public service, standing on the foundation of not just my parents, but individuals that God positioned me around that were doing the work for the people, regarding the people, servicing the people, making sure that the people were always first. You cannot be in this work. So my biography, I can go back to June 4th, and I don't have to tell you the year. I'm being brought to the Kruger Scott Mansion at 4 days old, being around women that were being trained to have their own. That was my beginnings of watching how women were being trained, how my mother was running several businesses, how my father was working a couple of jobs and running businesses. He worked for an organization called Team with a young man named Eugene Thompson. And I'm probably going to call some names that I used to hear in my household, Gus Henningsberg, names that we don't hear anymore, based on where we are moving in 2026 and not carrying on the history. So my biography is very extensive. The names in my household, very extensive, which could have only led me to be the public servant that I am. Part of my upbringing was to watch a woman, that being my mother, treat those who delivered her mail, those who picked up the substance that was thrown away, which they now call garbage. And sometimes people say one man's garbage might be another man's treasure, but they literally picked up something that wasn't really a treasure. It was work that nobody would do, but she did not treat them any different than she treated Mayor Gibson, the governor, whoever she had a relationship on any level. Everybody was part of humanity and deserved to be treated with respect, especially those who did not have titles. So this was what I grew up with. This is part of my upbringing. This is part of my life. I have my own biography. I have my own record. I have my own, I should say, platforms that I've stood on. One being that when I was a very young girl, like 13, 14, Kitty Taylor was running senior citizen programs throughout the city. So I was a volunteer for people 70, 60, 80, 90, MCing programs. I have receipts. I wasn't a lot of people don't know when you have receipts when you're in the background because you really don't want to be in the front. And she was constantly pushing me in the front, but I had no desire to be that. But here I am today, 2026, the sitting councilwoman at large, realizing that this work is always going to be about the people, never about you once you sit in that position. So thank God for my historical perspective of having a mother who was an entrepreneur and a father that no matter what his title was, he was Reverend Doctor, but he was just a human being that knew that the least of these needed more attention than those who were walking around with titles. Not that they didn't need any, and not that they didn't need any advocacy, but it will always be when you're in the positions that we serve in public office about the least of these. Any given day, Brother Jonathan, any one of us can be the least of these. Go ahead.
No, absolutely true. Right. And thank you for that. Your biography is extensive. I remember we did a one-on-one interview a few years back, just half an hour talking about the richness of that. That is something that we definitely need to get back to at a different time, right? When you are not campaigning for
Right,
public office.
right.
But for that, in terms of that secondary questions, you have what policies you are running for re-election?
Yeah.
What policies are you most proud of that you have done, right? That you've done in your term in office, and what is the top issue or top two issues that you're going to fight for if you are reelected?
Well, those policies are still policies that not only am I going to continue to fight for, but I am going to continue to stand on the forefront to combat what's going on with our residents without addresses, with our youth. Making sure that we are making preparation for the next generation. There's a lot of information that we have pertaining to those residents without addresses. And I do believe that to stand on a platform to make sure that the advocacy for those who are, here we go again with that word, the least of these. At any given time, someone can be a lawyer today and homeless tomorrow. Someone can be an educator today. And, and it's such a broad perspective. Listen, I can go into conversations about when you say policy, what's going on with our reparations. There's so many other topics that we can deal with, but we have to deal with the reality. The reality.
What is the policy that's been like? What did you support for homeless people? What happened with that?
Actually, I was a commissioner for the homeless. So it's not even a matter of supporting the policy. It's a matter of supporting the initiatives that have gone forward to combat what's going on with our homelessness in our city. So throughout the world, because it's not just a Newark issue, it is a universal issue. It's a national issue. So the policies that we put forward regarding how we deal with our homeless this population, how we deal with the families, how we put forth, I should say, resolutions, which Newark is ahead of, no matter what you're hearing. But the policies that we're putting forward, we're creating a center now in the city of Newark downtown, a drop-in center for homelessness, for residents without addresses, to be able to wash their clothes, to be able to stop in and have some. But you know, the real policy and the real work after that is to move them from being comfortable. And what policy will we put forward to continue the work of moving them from one step to the next? That is a very broad, and I brought that topic up because it was in the forefront of my mind, because at the moment I'm driving downtown and I passed a couple of individuals, and it just, when you said policy, it just jumped out in front of me, because this is something that I've been advocating for, not just on a local level, but on a statewide level.
Mm. And I think that Newark, the city of Newark, has been recognized for the work that it's done with
Much,
the unhoused population.
much.
What are the things that you are most important to you to work on going forward? Like, as in, for term, if you have another term, what is the thing that you're like, this is something that must be done?
Advocate for more affordable housing. More affordable housing. And we do have housing going up. We don't have enough. affordable, and there's a difference between affordable and low income. Job creation. How do we advocate for that? Well, we advocate by what the mayor had put into place. The live, love, live Newark, hire Newark, in Newark, buy in Newark. I mean, when you start talking about a city as large as ours, the largest municipality in the state of New Jersey, and when we have these conversations about living for our residents, they have to make a certain amount of money in order to move in some of the apartments, to move into some of the high rises, to move into just to buy a home. I want to continue to advocate for the home ownership. I want to continue to advocate and put policy in place that will help our residents who are buying homes not have such an issue. Like, so we have the tax abatements that people are always talking about. People don't even realize new homeowners can apply for a 5-year. We need to start educating, not just those who come to know a little bit about it, but we need to put policy in place that will have our homeowners understand what benefits they have and can have being a homeowner in the city of Newark.
Oh, great question. Great question. You're saying for new homeowners, you can actually
So
apply for tax abatement. Where do you apply for that? Like, what is that?
Well, it's actually you have to go through the tax office. So, what I would like to do, this is what I want you to do. For those who are, they need to call 973
Okay.
733 3794, and let's talk about it. If you are a homeowner, because that would take a
Is that your
whole,
office number?
yes, it is. That would take a whole 2-hour conversation for the
Okay.
process. Not even, not just tax abate, the monies that are available for new homeowners. I do want to bring Pat Council's name in because Councilman Council also, and I've supported this, the facade improvement, increasing that amount of money from 20,000 to 40,000. So there are so many policies, there's so many ordinances, there's so many resolutions that I have supported as a council member, that moving forward, we have to keep our focus on these things and make sure that the residents are benefiting from what we're doing, but at the same time, make sure that we're held accountable to do what we need to do for our residents, to assist them in improving their quality of life.
Okay.
Now,
Thank you.
who's
I might
the
have
number
to.
again?
I might have to take you up on that. The phone number
Yeah.
is 973 733
3794.
3794. So yeah, you might get your line might be busy from that, right? Like because those are things that are really
Hope
that
so.
are really important. If there are these programs that exist and are available, constituents always have to know about that. We know we're running low on time, but we want to ask you one last question that we've been asking all of the candidates. One of the things that I am putting into my repertoire of stuff that I teach, and they're doing this in Newark Public Schools as well. Paul Ortiz wrote a book called An African American and Latinx History of the United States. And it's a really good book, and I think it speaks to our times. There was an incident at Global High School a few years back that was very, very ugly racially. And many thought that there were tensions between the Black community and Latino community more widely, right? Well, I know that All Politics are Local. We did Ed Riley put together a forum at City Hall where we invited Felipe Luciano, a lot of the kids
Right.
who were involved in that. Do you believe that there is an issue between Blacks and Latinos in the city of Newark more widely? Was it something that was something that was more widespread that has to be dealt with? And if so, if it is a problem, what would you do? What are you doing to try to build unity within our communities? Unity between our different, very diverse communities.
So let me let me say this. Just to hit rewind, I want you to make sure that when you call my office, that we have a conversation with special taxes for the 5-year tax abatement program. I want to make sure that when I give information, that you have the correct information as to where it's coming for. So let me say this. I hear something in the background.
I can hear you. We can hear you.
I know.
All right, yeah.
Let me be clear, because you're asking about a very delicate. When you say improve the relationships, and you're talking about the Black and Latino having some type of separation, and how do we feel about improving the unity? It's so unfortunate that since the beginning of time, it's not just a Black and Latino thing, it's a human race thing. Because in many nationalities, you have division. Let's just talk about the division amongst us as African Americans that set the stage for other people to think, other nationalities to think that we're separate. Case in point, I was called to a school one day to help put out a fire between some young people. And when I got the phone call was, Reverend, we need you here because the Blacks are fighting the Haitians. Do you hear me?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
The Blacks are fighting. Last time I checked, Haitians were Black too. So we have created this narrative, even amongst ourselves, that creates division. To bring the unity, we've got to, and this is in my space, I cannot speak for everyone, but in my space that God has put me in, those who are included in my space or step into my space, I only know one source of nationalism, and that is humanity. I don't, so my presentation is, we don't have to come together and be on one accord. Some folks are not going to do it. Some folks don't want to do it. But in the spaces that I create, that God has given me, are we all going to be one? Whether you like it or not, some point they begin to love it. Because where there's unity, where there's liberty, there's unity. Where there's unity, there's liberty. Being on one accord makes things so much easier. And we have to stop creating the narrative, or I should say, putting in the atmosphere. What can we do to improve it? What we can do to improve it is respect each other for who we are. And whenever we come together on one accord for the sake of the people, because those of us in public service don't have the option when we're creating policy, when we're talking about education, when we're talking about religion, when we're talking about each other, we really don't have the autonomy, even though we could. And surely not should we be separating and presenting division. It happens in government, it happens in the church, and our children are watching the policies we create that are based on division. This is for me. Now, it's okay, because I'm as black can be, and I'm proud of that. I'm very proud of who I am. I'm not going to step aside from who God created me to be. But whoever God created you to be, I have to respect that. Likewise, I'm entitled, when creating policy, or when talking about education, or when talking about humanity, or when talking about living increase, or living wages increase when I'm with the unions, being treated fairly, I'm entitled to speak the voice that God gave me for all people. Not just you, not just your brother, not just my family. This walk in public service, when you start asking me about policies, when you start asking me about programs, but there are people that were doing this work long before us. When there was a Fannie Lou Hamer, you talk about her on one side, but then you talk about Nat Turner on the other side. There are people that stood firm and gave their lives. And then we have the audacity as public servants to think we're entitled personally This is not personal. If God gave you the power to speak on levels of what's going to help it make things better for people collectively, then that's what we should be doing. That's what we should be doing. Because that's when people start respecting the unified voice. But we're so busy trying to figure out how I can do it better than you, instead of us coming together to stand. And I would tell people, if I see you going in a great direction and you are a leader and I'm saying, you know the difference between right and wrong and yes and no, because you learned that at an early age. Don't take a rocket scientist to determine what's right, what's wrong. You know when it's not right. And if you choose to still stand on the side of wrong, then that means, are you thinking about you, what's best for you, or you're sacrificing the lives of individuals that you have been given charge over? So on every platform, whether it's policy, whether it's education, whether it's housing, whether it's domestic violence, there is no one or two perfect. This is the perfect platform. There's no perfect platform, because at the top of all of that would be reparations. At the top of all of that would be the CCRB. At the top of all of that would be how you treat each other. And putting all of those things in perspective, Brother Jonathan, when you ask me about what policy, am I most proud of, what platform do I want to continue for these 4 years? I want to continue whatever time God gives me to serve the city of Newark. I want to do it in excellence. I don't want to do it with hate in my heart. I don't want to do it with malice in my heart. And I will not allow that to be projected from my spirit when I have people depending on my leadership.
And thank you for that. I know we've run out of time for this, but please tell us, what is your ballot number and letter, and elections for a final word.
Okay. So of course everyone knows I'm running on Team Baraka. The Honorable Mayor has done such a marvelous job, fantastic job, a yeoman's job. When you're not doing anything, people really don't have anything to say. I just have a lot to say good about being on Team Baraka, along with the 5 ward council people. My ballot is B17. B for beautiful, B for beloved, B for brilliant, B for the best people in the whole wide world that God has allowed me to see. B17. I need this as a countdown, 11 more days before the election for Team Baraka to make it to victory. I'm trusting God that people are going to believe and continue to believe that we can continue the work. You can't build a whole empire in just 4 years. You can't build, a lot of folks throw some things together. But when it comes to this type of work, and I don't plan to be forever, Brother Jonathan, but I want to finish these last 4 years because I have aspirations and dreams too. I have some things I want to do because I have a legacy. My mother was somebody, I am somebody, you are somebody, and the people of Newark, all of them, no matter from the least to the most, are somebody. So B17, I ask all of you to please come out and support Team Baraka, Reverend Louise Scott-Rountree for re-election for all the people, public servant for all people, public servant for all issues, public servant to make sure that as I move forward with the city of Newark, as the mayor and Team Baraka continue to move the city forward, I want to be on the right side of history and move with them. Thank you. B17, May 12th, get out to vote. Tell your mother, your father, your sister, your children, everybody. Nobody's feet should be under the table when you go out to vote. When Barack Obama ran, you had lines around the building. School board, 2.9% voted in a over 400,000. I say 400,000 because Pookie probably didn't
And
sign the census. So do not sit home when people have lost their lives for us to be in these positions and not take the position for us right now. That's it.
thank you. Thank you. Take care, and we will see you soon. Good luck.
I thank you. Brother Ed, I hope I made you proud.
I'm sure. I'm
Brother
sure. Thank you
Jonathan,
again.
God bless you. Have a good day. Thank you for your support and thank you for having me as a family member, a friend, and one of the most lovable individuals. And thank God for Ed Riley as a producer for producing this platform for us to be able to speak. God bless you. God bless the city of Newark. God bless America. Talking to you later.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, and we have one more candidate on tonight. We have Dr. Altarik B. White Sr., who is running for councilperson at large for the city of Newark. Thank you for coming on All Politics Are Local. You've been on our show before, right?
Long time ago.
Okay, I know the name was familiar. I know the
Yes.
name sounded familiar. I know we've heard of you, and thank you for coming on the show. We want to jump right in. So
Absolutely.
tell us, you are running for councilperson at large
Yes.
for the city of Newark. You're
Yes.
running to be one of the at-large, one of the four, I believe, at-large council people.
Yes.
What is there? I'm sorry.
Yes. I'm agreeing with you. Yes.
What is there about your biography that makes that informs or makes you a great and excellent council person at large? Tell us about your biography and how that relates to you running for council.
Okay. Well, again, thank you again for having me. I apologize. Last week, we had a fundraiser, so I couldn't make it. So I was very grateful for you guys being able to reschedule and having me on. I mean, that's who I am. I've been serving the people's, since I came back from playing ball. Just a little bit about myself. I grew up in the city of Newark. I grew up on Belmont Avenue. I think they call it Irving Turner Boulevard now. I don't ever call it Irving Turner Boulevard. I was born on Belmont Avenue. Went to Belmont Runyon, Bergen Street School, Malcolm X Shabazz High School, and went off to college, played a couple of years in the NFL, and came back home. Been coaching, mentoring, and teaching, and doing that for the past 33 years. About 11 years ago, I retired as an administrator at Malcolm X Shabazz High School. In 2008, I started Leaders for Life as a grassroots organization, as a male mentoring organization. Fast forward to 2012, I turned it into a nonprofit, and we had an after-school program and a summer youth development program to go with our mentoring program. I retired from Newark Public School in 2015, and started, doing community work full time. We are now an alternative high school where we take 16 to 25-year-olds who are removed from the traditional public school space. And to date, we've graduated over 500 of these young people.
What is the program called?
Leaders for Life Academy. Yeah, very happy about that, being able to take a young person who may have some issues, may have some problems with the traditional public school space. We bring them in, give them give an opportunity to complete their high school diploma. They don't get a GED, they get a high school diplomas, and job readiness training, and social emotional development. And we don't do this work alone. By no means we do this work alone. We have plenty of partners. Last year alone, we fed 16,000 families. We were the very first organization to bring the community fridge into the city of Newark, and about 5 years ago. And last year alone, we fed over 16,000 families, and we're on pace this year to serve 25,000 families. So we're very happy about that. Unfortunately, a few years back, we lost a young man who, 10-year-old, who was playing football in Westside Park, and he went into cardiac arrest, and no one there knew how to do CPR. And
that was a horrible scenario.
horrible.
Call center between the city and the county.
Yeah, 27 minutes.
It was horrible.
That baby stayed out there for 27 minutes because no one knew CPR. So instead of complaining about it, last year we started certifying residents in CPR. Last year we did 168 residents in CPR. You know, shout out to our former superintendent, Marion Bowden, who made sure that all her coaches were trained in CPR back in early 2000s. So those are the things we do. We find a need and we service the community, and I've been doing that. And there's a whole host of things. I know there's a number of other questions, so I don't want to monopolize the time based on that. But there's a number of things we do. We just serve the people. You know, we do giveaways. We're doing our third expungement clinic. We did 2 this year. We did 3 last year. We're going to do 5 this year. So we serve the people, all the residents here in the South Ward. The reason I'm running for council at large is I want to open my arms to spread that reach out bigger and support more families and more young people in the entire city. You're on mute.
I'm always forgetting to take myself off mute. But thank you for that. And the program that you're talking about, I know that I've heard about many of the good things that have come from that.
Yes.
The second part of the question is a question, or the second question deals with policies.
Okay.
If you are elected, what are the 2 policies that you would pursue? Where do you see your candidacy? Where do you see if you are elected, where do you see the policies and issues that you will push more than anything else? Like what goes to the top?
Well, I think that I can't speak on the policies, what worked and what's not working, because I'm not a sitting council person. I know that, you know, some of the things that I would like to see better, we have to do more. We have to create more spaces for our young people, right? Back in 2017, I did a study. There were 2,700 CDS crimes committed in the city of Newark by young people between the age of 16 and 21, right? Well, it's no secret that during that same time, we had over 7,000 young people who are disconnected from the traditional high school space. So we have to do a better job of creating spaces for our young people, right? We have to do a better job. In 2015, we had the #1 after school program in the entire country, right? So from 3 to 6, you know, grades 2 to 8 were able to extend the school day, right? They got a nutritious meal, they got reading support, they got math support, and then from 6 to 9, we did financial literacy, and young people were off the streets and they were, you know, playing basketball. They were involved in different activities. That's one of the things I will push. I would not even going to push it. I'm going to bring it back. My organization alone brought $10 million into the city the last 5 years. The money is out there. We just have to go and get it. It's whatever your priorities are. All right. That's one. We have to create more spaces for our young people. And we have to do a better job protecting our seniors. I got to be honest with you. The last 5-6 months of knocking on doors and going around introducing myself and meeting residents, some of our seniors are living in deplorable conditions. Deplorable. We have to do a better job of supporting them. We have to do a better job of protecting them, right? So cold don't mean fair, right? So we got to do a better job of protecting our seniors and creating more spaces for our young people.
And the reason why I push questions about policy is because you in your life, you have identified a problem. Mm-hmm. And you have come up with solutions for that problem.
Yes.
Like the stuff that you've done with your program is that you have identified a problem with kids who were out of the system but still needed help. Right. And you have a solution that was there, right? Yes. And even if you're not in office right now, there's a vision that you have. Right. Like you're running for a reason, right? And there's a vision of solutions to, because everyone can identify a problem, right? But for policymakers, policy is all about what is the solution for that problem. So that's why I've been pushing, like, what would be the 1 or 2 things that in terms of at a policy level, that because that's what you would be, right? If you're a council person,
Right.
you are a policymaker. So when you come in, if you are elected in 2 weeks, you would take office in July.
Yes.
What would be something that you're like, this is a policy that we need to push?
Well, it's going to be a learning curve. Obviously, I don't want to say this one is more important than that one, but definitely we would create low income housing, more low income housing. Okay, we do have a situation, a homeless situation. Homeless, we have a very large homeless population, even with our young people, and like you said, I see an issue and I create solutions for that issue. Even within the space that I'm in now, there's a population of young people that were coming to me. They were coming to my high school that were couch hopping, right? So what we did was we created a transitional home for them, right? So I took some resources and we opened up a transitional home, named it after my daughter, who I unfortunately lost 4 years ago to cancer. It's called the Jordan's House. Now, this space is for young men between the age of 18 and 25, and it's a transitional space for them to come in. We stabilize them, give them a place where they can call home. They go to the doctor regularly. They do workforce development. If they're still in school, they have to go to school. But these are some of the things we like to do. So I want to be clear about when I say low, not even low income, not even affordable housing. We need to create more low income housing, right? We need to create more spaces for people to be able to stay in their homes. And then Newark are 75% renters, right? I will push every year to try to knock that number down 5%. In 5 years, now we have a 50% split. We got 50% homeowners, 50% renters, and just continue to push that issue about home ownership, right? Creating wealth within our families. So I definitely will work on the low income housing and pushing home ownership, as well as continue to make spaces bigger and create more spaces for young people while protecting our seniors.
Okay, and we're gonna have some of our guests chime in and ask what they do in our very limited time. But I just wanted to throw in the same question that I've asked everyone else, and I'll try to do that in a very condensed way. There have been incidents in the past few years that made many believe that there were problems between Blacks and Latinos within the city.
Mm-hmm.
How do you perceive race relations, interrace relations within the city of Newark, if you see it as a problem, and what would you do to help unify the city and our populations?
Well, we do have an issue in our city. We have an issue with Black on Black. We have an issue with young men that live in different communities that feel the need to want to use a weapon to as a form of violence. I think that having been in this space and being able to work with all races and Black and Latino, I would be more inclusive, right? Okay, I can't go into the Latino community and tell them what they should and shouldn't be doing, right? I have to include them, right? I have to include them in their decision-making ability. I have to make sure they have a seat at the table, right? I have to make sure that the young men or young people in the South Ward and the young men in the East Ward and the young men in the North Ward and people in these particular communities, that they have a voice, okay? Part of my when I win, part of my first 100 days, I'm doing a 70-day listening tour where I'm going into all these different spaces, going to all 26 communities in this city just to listen for 70 days. And then during that 30 days when we putting solutions together, the same people who we took the information from while we were doing our listening tour, we bringing them back to the table so we can come up with strategize and come up with solutions for some of the issues and problems that they may face in these different neighborhoods, in these different communities. So to answer the question, I would make it more inclusive, bringing all of them to the table so they'll give you the answer if you give them the space to it.
All right, and welcome, Bashir Akinyele, Donna, I know Zaid, has been on, of course, Ed,
Yes, yes.
the creator of our program. Anyone have questions for Council candidate Altarik B. White Sr.?
Dr. White, I have a quick question. We all by now have heard the Supreme Court gutted Section 2 of the Voting Rights Act. In our community, primarily Essex County, I've watched, we vote around 30%. You will be a legislator, and I know you're knocking on doors now. What will you do to improve civics and encourage people and inspire people and educate people to realize that their vote is important from everywhere locally all the way to DC?
Well, thank you for that question. And when I was an administrator, 10 years ago at Malcolm X Shabazz High School, one of the things that I created when I was administrator was registering the seniors, my seniors at the school for 6 years when I was administrator. When you can register a kid who's 17, in 3 months he or she is turning 18, right? I think we just have to continue to be inclusive, right? I think we have 160 something thousand registered voters. The same 20,000, 22,000 people come out and vote. I think people are tired. I think people have lost faith in our government. I think people just said, you know what, it's not going to matter. I'm not one of those people. I'm someone that's going to be, in the community all the time, knocking on doors, meeting with people, being at ball games, talking to young people, talking to our seniors, talking to our middle-aged ones about the importance of being doing your civic engagement, and continuing to register people to vote. And while registering them, talking to them about, informing them about, or educating them about the importance of being out there voting and having your voice heard. So I'll continue to do those things. I've been doing them for years. I'm doing them after May 12th. I'm going to continue to be who I am. I'm going to continue to support the people, and I'm going to continue to do everything I can do to help make their lives better. I always say none of us knows what all of us knows, but you have to be inclusive with all. We have to be inclusive with everyone. So none of us knows what all of us knows, though.
That's right. That's right.
And Bashir, I know you want to have something to say.
Yeah, absolutely. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam to Allah.
Hotep, peace, Coach
Yes.
White. Family, brothers and sisters tuning in to the All Politics, our local radio show, number one political hip hop show in the country. Brothers and sisters, I affectionately call Dr. Alturrick White, Coach White. He's a legendary coach in the city of Newark. He won Weequahic High School. It's its first championship in over 30 years. And the brother has been on fire ever since, doing great work as an educator, as a coach, as just a strong Black man, and when he left the Newark Public Schools, he continued working in our community, establishing a school, Leaders for Life, that's providing diplomas, high school diplomas to our young people, particularly Black and Latinos in the city of Newark, and so many other programs and projects he's doing. Coach White, my brother, okay, I just want to ask you one thing. Why commit yourself to running for a council person at large seat? All the work you've been doing, and you've been doing incredible work without media attention. You've been out for a long time providing services and programs to help our people, particularly Black and Latinos. So why put yourself, why commit yourself to councilman at large, councilperson at large seat?
Well, thank you for that question, and I appreciate, and you always been, even when our time we worked together at Weequahic, we always had great conversations. We always talked and we supported one another.
That's right.
And I still appreciate what you do, and under the radar. It's so important. Why put myself out there? A lot of people don't know I was homeless at one point. You know, at 15 years old in Bradley Court, I was homeless, right?
Wow.
6 weeks I was homeless. And it was very difficult, very tough for me at that time. You know, I was a young father. I had just lost my mother. My father was away. So my high school English teacher, Pop Woods, came into Bradley Court and found me, right?
Wow.
Took me in.
Wow.
Right? Took me in.
Wow.
Right? So at one point, I'm homeless, right? At 15, I'm homeless. At 21, I'm the #1 college football player in the country. Get ready to go play for the Miami Dolphins. All because somebody gave me an opportunity. And these are the same opportunities that many of our young people need now, right? So I want to be able to continue to support people. I want to continue to be able to give people hope. You know, I want to use my platform to reach these young people so they don't have to pick up guns, right? We do. This is the work we did at Weekway High School.
That's right.
We saved a lot of lives over there.
Yes, sir.
And let me. And I'm not here to talk about anyone. Not anyone. I think that, you know, having 31 murders, 31 people being killed last year is a number that's been, you know, drastically decreased from the time that you and I, you know, in the streets working.
Absolutely.
But one is a problem for me, right? It's a problem. We need to continue to create spaces for people to be able to feel safe. Even in my city, I still don't feel safe, right? I feel safe for young people to be able to go outside and play football like we used to play football in the street.
That's right.
I got young people calling me, Coach, I want to come to your school to get my diploma, but I live in the West. I can't come to the South. Issue for me. That's an issue for me. So if you can't come to the school, I'm going to bring the school to you. So we're looking at spaces in the West. We're looking at spaces in the North. So we got to be able to create spaces for people to come in to get the services. Now, again, it's a yeoman's job, but we got to do it, right? Because we're losing young people every day.
That's right.
Every day. We're using young people every day. And again, being able to see how some of our most vulnerable seniors living, and it's not just one or two, it's a plethora of them. So I want to do my part. I want to do my part, right? And if being on a council, it's a bigger platform, bit more resources, because I'm going to tell you this. I'm running for council to use the people's resources for the people's priorities.
Go ahead, bro.
Yes, sir.
All right, so let us know. I know we're running out of time because we are. We actually have another guest that we're going to try to have some time with, but I know that we are over time. So what is the number? What is your ballot number? And we'll leave you with the last words.
Yes, my ballot number is B9. And I'll just say this again, B9, Dr. Altarik B. White, B9. I'll say this again. I'm running for council to use the people's resources for the people's priorities. Not just the people I like, not just the people who voted for me. I'm going to govern the entire city. White, Hispanic, African, whomever. Whomever. Again, none of us knows what all of us know, so we have to be inclusive in this process.
Appreciate you, Coach White.
Yes, sir.
All right. And thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for having me, guys.
All
right, take care. And good luck.
Dr. White, yes. I know we got to go, but I'm very impressed with that platform. And brother, I pray that you get to the council seat, but I believe that without that council seat, you can do magnificent things in the city. So continue to do what you're doing, brother.
Thank you so much. And we're going to continue to do it. I know we got to go. Just one thing. I was just in the park. I did my 5 miles, and the young man walked up to me. He said, "Are you running for council?" I said, "Yes." He said, "Continue to do what you've been doing, young man. Continue to do." So on May 12th, if I don't win, on May 13th, I'm back at Leaders for Life doing the same thing. See y'all there. Thank you. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. What's his ballot position, John?
B9.
Oh,
B9.
Hold on, let me.
B9.
Your ballot position?
B9.
B9. All right.
B9.
All right, thank you.
B9.
All right, so we are out of time, but we've got to put on our guest. He just came off the stage, but we wanted to have our guest that we really wanted to have on tonight. We wanted to get him on and just start the conversation that we're going to have later. That we have a young scholar. He's not back. He's not in the background right now.
Oh.
Okay, so he might have had to go. He might have had to leave. But we want to make sure that we schedule with him so that we have him on for next week or whenever he is free. He's doing some really great work. Baruti Kafele is doing
Libre Kafele. Not
Baruti, right? His son,
master teacher, father, Principal Baruti Kafele.
Right. And his son is doing really good work. Just finished writing 2 books. That it was summarized. The content was summarized as "Black people aren't lazy. We've just been set up." And I wanted to have a longer discussion about that. It deals with housing discrimination and ways to navigate systems designed to hurt us. I think that conversation is an incredibly important conversation to have. And we really want to have that conversation with him. We apologize for running late.
And he has
tonight.
Great commentary on like pilots and things like that. So it needs to be a in-depth conversation about how we can make our tax dollars and around housing work for us.
Right, and of course, Donna, I'm blaming you partially for it, as I always do, for asking lots of questions at the end. So yes, I'm kidding, Donna. It was not your fault at all. But we just started running late with candidates, and it just got later and later. So our apology for this. I know it's election season. We're trying to have as many candidates on as possible. But we've got a lot to talk about, and we're going to have a lot to talk about next week and the week after. There's the voting rights decision that we're going to be talking about. There is the elections. Again, we're going to have more candidates on next week. There are a lot of people running for office in the city of Newark, New Jersey, and we are not going to be able to have everyone on, but we're trying to get as many people on as we can. So we want to thank our guests.
Is the last weekend before election.
Yes, next weekend is the last weekend before elections. We really want to make sure that we want to thank all of our guests for tonight. For that we had Pastrami Over Politics at 6 o'clock. So big thanks to Rahaman Muhammad and Alturrick Kenney for that informative and entertaining hour. Big thanks also to all of our candidates who came on. Amina Bay running for Central Ward Councilwoman, Pat Council running for South Ward Councilperson, Louise Scott-Rountree running at large.
And John, as we mentioned them, let's just say what their ballot number is. So Amina is going to be C.
Okay, if you know them, say them, because I don't know them. So
Amina's going to be 1C. Pat's going to be C7.
Okay, at large Councilperson Reverend Louise Scott-Rountree.
He's going to be B17.
And we just had Altarik White Sr. He's running for at large.
And he's going to be B9.
All right, cool. So thank you. And also big thanks to Baruti Libre Kafele as well. Thank you. And we apologize again for running out of time, but we really, really, really want you back next week or as soon as you can.
And Jonathan, has early voting begun with the municipal elections? Do we know?
I do not know. I do not know the answer to that question. I'm assuming yes, but I do not know the answer to that question.
All right.
Sometimes it's a week in advance, sometimes not.
Okay.
But I do not know the answer to that question. Okay. So thank you. And we'll have more answers next week. Hopefully early voting will start. That's a good question to ask. We should have the answers to that for next week. I love early voting anyway, so I want to find that out for myself. So thanks for the candidates. Hey, Bashir, good seeing you, man.
Good to be seen, black man.
Yep. And until next week, good night. Be safe. We will see you next week.
All right. Peace.